That one.
Warning. All stories could be completely made up, and we have no way to confirm that. Any and all names mentioned in the show are most likely fake. We at Campfire Moto Stories are not journalists and should not be considered as much. If you're offended by anything said or shown in this episode, we don't care, but we encourage you to voice your opinion so we can laugh at the fact that you can't control your emotions. This program contains full language, and I recommend no one to watch or listen to this.
The views and opinions expressed in the program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the sponsor, any advertisers, or the sponsor's affiliates, employees, or partners.
Coming to you live from the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia, it's Campfire Moto Stories.
Hey everyone, welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. I'm Anthony Bennett. I'm thrilled to have you join us today for our live show. This YouTube show / podcast is all about sharing amazing motorcycle stories, everyday riders like you. Whether it's an epic ride, funny mishap, or an unforgettable adventure, we want to hear it all. Today, we have some fantastic guests in the studio who we'll introduce in just a moment, where we'll dive into their riding stories. Plus, we have exciting segments lined up, including pre-recorded interviews, Billy's tech tips, spotlight a stolen bike, and stories sent in by you through the website and or phone line. At 8:30 sharp, we'll open the phone lines and give our live viewers a chance to call in and share their own motorcycle story. Lastly, you'll get to hear an awesome story from my 5-year-old son about riding. May or may not be completely made up. But hey, 5-year-old can tell a great story, so can you. Don't forget, you can earn entries into our YZ250 giveaway by participating in the show. Check out campfiremotostories.com for all the official rules, and by participating in any way, shape, or form, you indicate that you've read the official rules and agree to our terms and conditions. Let's get it started.
Another lap around the wall, another request, another wall. All I hear, I can't fly. I feel the strain, all behind. And all I
Yeah, made that drink a little too strong. Oh, damn mouse. There it is. Hey, welcome to Campfire Moto Stories. Sorry we're starting the show a little bit late. Scotty and I were making an amazing video we're going to show you guys later when we take a little break. It's totally worth it. Thank you for joining the show, listening, watching. I'm your host, Anthony Bennett, and studios joined with me one of my... What was it? I tubbed it my favorite little angry rider ever.
Like that,
yeah, my buddy Scott Kellam's in studio with me today. So Scotty is. I was trying to figure out what guest I wanted in on Monday, and he randomly texted me, "Hey, I'm in town visiting," and I said, "Clear your schedule Wednesday." I said, "You're coming on the show." Well, actually, I didn't tell him he's coming on the show. I made sure his schedule was cleared first. And then I sent him the YouTube thumbnail, and then he knew I was coming on the show.
I think you said you needed to ask my boss first.
Well,
you threw that in there too. So
well, yeah, I did that as a little to try to coax you into coming in, because then you're gonna see that and get all angry and fired up, which you never do
at all. Never. Me angry? Never.
So one thing I want to start the show with is the calendars. The 2025 Campfire Moto Stories Ramrods calendar is ready. And I would show you some pictures from this, but I'm going to do a little more of a PG-13 show since your 4-year-old is watching, I believe. And also there's people's bikes I got this year.
He's 5. He's okay.
Oh, is he 5?
Yeah,
he can see full frontal male nudity?
Yeah, that's fine.
No, but there's bikes in here that people don't know I got their bike yet. I want to film me giving them the calendar, and then they notice that I got their bike. So, yeah. So, I know you've listened to a few of the shows now. Mm-hmm. And, I like to start off with an icebreaker. So I'm going to have to say, without going into too much details, for my wife's dignity, and I might have to cut you off on this one, but
Has there ever been a time where you were so intoxicated that you ended up peeing all over your house while running down the stairs, sir?
Wow. Okay. We're going hard. All right.
Yeah, this is the
gosh.
icebreaker, buddy. Yeah. What all happened
Not
that
that
night?
part, but I've passed out between double doors and the outside inside before, but not ever peeing down the hallway.
No, sir.
No,
Yes,
that was a
at the Ackworth house.
Ackworth
told me
house.
that you
was
got up-
upstairs,
Yeah, the
very
upstairs
top room, and not to go into too much detail. I woke up and really needed to go to the bathroom, and I just lost it coming down the stairs. He was going over. No, okay, let's back up a little bit. Back then I did sleep in the nude, so that's why there was pee going everywhere, because I was running down the stairs to go to the bathroom.
So now with multiple kids, you don't just sleep in the nude all the time?
No, I can't do that
Those
anymore.
little assholes
No, I
come
know.
barreling
Yep.
through the door.
They
My
do.
kid does really good about knocking on doors, but there's sometimes he just comes in full speed in the morning.
Yeah, that's it. No, can't do that anymore. But
Yep.
there was a pause in the moment. Like I said, I won't go into detail. I
There were
stopped
some
and
noises
Here's
happening.
the noises, yes. And I stopped to listen, and I was like, "There'd be a little porno going on." Wait, I'm still peeing. I had to run and go to the bathroom. So yeah, I was done peeing by the time I got to the bathroom. Wow, I can't believe it. I forgot about that. I can't.
I
believe
know. I forgot about it until somebody brought up the story and the situation and all that stuff.
Those were the party days. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ackworth house was a good party. Because God, you're a good bit older than me. I think that was your early 30s and my mid 20s.
I was
or early
probably-
20s still.
It was 2000. What?
Seven,
I was
8.
37. No, 27.
You were only
2000?
27 then?
Yeah, I was 20. Yeah, 27.
I thought you were a lot older than me for some reason. I don't know
Was
why.
it? I could be wrong. My math could be way off. No, yeah, I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
27, going to my 30s. Yeah.
That was my my second home where I slept on the couch basically 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
And then Matatha would get mad at me because the alarm would go off all the time, and she basically would pick my phone up and throw it at my head because she
Yeah.
was pissed off I wouldn't turn off the alarms and actually wake up.
Oh, there's some memories coming back there. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so even going back down a little bit further, more of some memory lane here. So it was 07 that we met,
Mhm.
and I remember the exact date, time, and everything that we met. It's a Halloween party. So it actually would have been around this time frame, 2007. So do
Yeah.
the math to how many ever years ago that was.
Some
and,
UPS thing is going on in my head right now.
The what?
Some UPS thing is going
Yeah,
on in my head right now.
So my buddy Dave Gaddy, Nick's dad,
Yeah.
worked at UPS and gave me a uniform. Chris Hall came with me,
Yeah.
and he wore the UPS thing. I had just broken my arm, that plate that was in there, so I had
You were
a
in a
cast
cast.
from here. So I wrapped the other arm in a cast, and I bought a corncob pipe, and I was Popeye.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I came
yeah.
with big old forearms or
Uh-huh.
whatever. So that night, you were Jason, or had a Jason hockey jersey. I remember that. I think you had the Jason
Your
mask
memory's going to
flipped
be
up.
better than mine.
I do recall that.
Yeah.
But there was this girl there, dressed as Robin,
Mm-hmm.
named
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm single. I'm flirting with whatever
Yeah.
is possibility.
Yeah.
So cut to like a few weeks later, and I worked at a place right down the street from Barbie Cutie, a dealership, and I go in there on lunch, and you're there. I'm looking. It takes me a few minutes. I look again. I'm like, I know him, but from where? And then I remembered it was from the party.
Yep.
So are you remembering all this too?
I
or do
remember it.
you-
Oh, yeah.
okay,
I remember
okay.
it. Yeah.
And then I said to you, I was like, hey, I think I was just hanging out with the party just recently. And you go, nope. And I was like, huh, okay, yeah, my bad. And then a little bit later, I go, name was Scotty. So I went back up to, I was like, yeah, no, we were. Your name was Scotty. And you were like, no, I don't remember. I'm just like, this was like 3 weeks ago or whatever. So one of the guys that worked that ended up, actually, he worked at WOW at the time. You and him were friends at
Yep.
the time. And then we started going riding a little bit more.
Yep.
And then it turns out, why was it that you hated me?
Well, the word cockblock comes up. I mean, that's at that party. That was the same girl that I think I was trying to get with, and
And I didn't
here
know.
comes UPS coming in delivering.
Popeye. Here comes
So
Popeye.
yeah, the UPS shirt on too.
No, I had a full-on
You know,
Popeye.
you sure?
Mhm.
Somebody
No,
who was in the
Chris
UPS.
had a full-on UPS uniform
Oh,
on,
okay. It was you then.
which he would have probably been hitting on her as well, or anything else, or whatever. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was.
I thought, who's this cockblock? Okay, I'm done. Whatever. There's too much energy.
Yeah, so, and then later I found out that you hated me. I think it was like a year and a half later, you finally told me, like, yeah, I didn't like you that
Yeah,
time
no.
because I was trying to hook up with a
Yeah.
girl.
There was plenty of other girls.
I don't think there
Yeah.
was. I feel like it
Well,
was more of a
could have
sausage
been.
party.
We'll go after one of them.
It doesn't have the right orifices, I guess you could say. I don't know, however you'd say that.
Oh,
It's a bunch of dudes.
yeah. And 2 more showed up.
Assholes. All right, so you sent me a bunch of little stories. I've got a few that are from my memory. But we said we wouldn't mention names. But at the time, or at some point, I don't remember when, you did go to work for Wow Motorcycles. And actually, my wife was working there at the time. My mom was working there at the time.
Yeah.
I'd pop in every Wednesday because it
Yeah.
was on my way to school. We'd hang out with BS, blah, blah, blah. But all the time, you were getting into arguments with people over some of the dumbest shit because
Yeah.
it's just your nature, and I love
It's
it.
very my nature, yeah.
But
yeah.
one person who was about your height, won't say his name, but a little Guatemalan fella.
That's my buddy.
So Megan was trying to remember anything in particular, like big blow-ups or something crazy that happened between you two. Can you recall any of them, or was it just always piddly shit?
Yeah, I mean, it was most of it was piddly shit. I mean, but it was more of they throw jokes out and they can't take it. It was one of those things. So that's what really set it off, and they get mad at me for something that they did and blah blah whatever. So yeah,
So they'd crack short jokes, you'd crack one back, they'd get
And
pissed
they
off.
didn't
They'd
like it,
probably go
yeah.
cry to CAN.
yeah. So some of the stuff that would happen, I can't say it might have been a little racial. I don't know at the time, but I didn't really care. I'm just that guy. But
I mean, but aren't you
shirts came
Mexican?
off.
Aren't
No.
you Mexican? You're not
at all.
Mexican?
No,
You sure you're not Mexican?
Nope.
You look Mexican
I
as
got
fuck.
an Indian in me.
Mm.
Bit. Native.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Native Indian.
The Wawa,
I'm
not
not
the welcome to
no,
the,
no, I'm not
welcome to
that
the
Indian.
shell.
I'm not Middle East. No.
And I just got canceled. I always thought you were a little Mexican.
No,
Maybe
never.
No. Oh.
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
I get that mistaken to me all the time.
Well,
People come
especially
speak
now that
Spanish.
you're in, or you were in landscaping stuff. Are you
Was,
still doing
yeah.
that? Yeah,
No,
you're
I'm
not doing that anymore. That's right.
No.
But yeah, you were in landscaping, so I'm sure.
was I had to learn Spanish. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you have a bunch of Spanish guys come up to you and they start speaking Spanish? And
Oh,
you
all
just
the time.
like,
Even when I'm not working there, I've got people that come up and speak Spanish to me. And I'm like, I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've learned to be able to speak a little bit to tell them where to go or
communicate.
or
at least-
new landscaping terms.
Or at
Yeah.
least tell them. I would learn it really well how to say, "Oh, I know I look Hispanic, but I don't speak Mexican or Spanish." Like
Don't speak Mexican.
really well. Yeah, sorry, that's first.
Cancel again.
I've been chugging a little bit to catch up because I didn't even get. Usually I pregame before the
Yeah.
show, and I didn't get shit
I think
because
I'm
we
a
were
little
making that
ahead of
video.
you.
But no, like I would learn how to say that perfectly, so they'd look at you and be like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, shirts came off and got to scrapping a few times.
I've never really thrown punches with these guys, but yeah, shirts came off in the little parking lot. I was done. So they didn't like that, and of course they went and told upper. It is what it was.
Yeah.
Nothing really got up, but they're still my good buddies. I hang out with them. Last time I was here, I went and saw them.
You did?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
They've been banned
yeah.
from that place.
I know. I think they love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were glad that they were banned from there now.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
no,
I'm
I
sure
saw
it
all
does.
of them. They were actually doing pretty good from what
Good.
I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So,
curious if you
yeah.
had any contacts with him or seen
Oh
him.
yeah, I've been talking to him.
Yeah, because usually he's from Scott's living in San Antonio now. I feel like it's been 7 years-ish that you kind of went there, maybe 8. And you came back for a short 6 months.
So
stint,
yeah,
and
we
then went
officially
back over there.
moved in 2011. After
God,
5
was
years.
it that long?
Yeah, 2011 because that's when we got married. My wife
Holy
and I.
shit.
So we got married in Texas, and then we came back in late 2016 to 2017 and moved back in the 2018. We were only here back for a year.
Yeah.
Moved back.
I remember it was just that
Yeah.
short little stint.
We go back and forth. We can't stop.
Yeah. Well, at least still come to visit every now and then. And her mom and dad, I run into him at Home Depot all the time, and I'll snip a pic of him and send them to you or Jenny.
Yep.
And hope that she'll send it to him, and he'll be like,
And it's in their favorite place. It's Sam's or Costco.
usually it's Home Depot that I run into him. I'm never
do you?
in Sam's or Costco.
Oh, okay.
No, I avoid that place like the plague. Megan will
he's
go
over
there. All right, so one of the writing stories I wanted to bring up was a very special day for both of us because we both had a tragic loss this day. I don't remember the date or event, but I do want to say it was around 2010-ish, but you had a YZ252 stroke.
Yeah.
We all went to AMP riding one day.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Oh, wow.
You know what?
Hey, wow. I didn't bring that one up.
I found a picture
Yeah.
that I wanted to show you because I think this picture is actually from this day.
It's probably still on the
Um,
front of his Facebook page, right?
where is it?
That's a good one.
Oh, shit. All right. So this picture right here.
Yeah.
So that was the day.
That's the day.
At AMP.
It
Pretty
might have
sure
been the
it is.
day or the day before, one of the two. Yeah.
So what you're actually looking
Yeah.
at right here is my wife and Scotty.
Yeah.
Now, back then, Megan and I weren't even dating.
Nope.
It's kind of funny she has a WoW sweater on. So
Yeah, she was still working. We were all working there.
Yeah.
I think that was the day. You know what? That's the day. I don't think that's the day that we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
This is the day I crashed really bad on the quad.
that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the other guy we're talking about, well, I think it might have been a weekend before or a weekend after.
So I'm thinking, or I'm bringing up the story of when you crashed on the quad
Yeah.
and your throttle hung wide open.
Yeah.
So
that was
what?
on my 03 YZ250.
I want to say it was that, yeah. But you
got it all
just
done.
fully went through that thing, if I recall.
Brand new motor, pro circuit pipe, and everything on that. Yeah.
What I mean, what even happened with the crash? Because I don't remember seeing it. All I remember is hearing grr 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 grr
Well-
grr, and then you running to the bike.
I don't know if I was running. I was hobbling. That hurt. I thought I blew both my knees out, threw my shoulder out. But I think it's one of those things where it's I don't know if you say like a karma thing or just a bad juju for me, because every time I put, and you can probably attest to this, every time I put a brand new pipe on my bike, I wreck or I smash it. It never fails. I put a brand new pipe or something and I'll smash it.
So are you one of those idiots, kind of like the helmet, that will drop the helmet on the ground for that?
I don't do
So-
that.
I know,
probably
but I'm
should've.
just saying. I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
Do you? Anytime you get a new pipe, you get a hammer and just ding, put a little dent in it.
Never did, but I should, because I didn't like the dings. I probably should have, yes. But
You're a little too neat to want to ding your pipe.
know
I will say.
that. I mean, every time I get there, I'm always looking at my bike, working on it while I'm there. It's just a habit from my dad. That,
Oh my
yeah,
God!
so,
I just
know.
remembered the story. Okay,
But,
go ahead.
But yeah, that day, you see, it's kind of gloomy. I think that the night before it might have rained. So it was a little slippery. So when we were coming out of the corner at the top,
Yeah, he had a
when you
little
dropped
step
down
down.
the bottom.
Yep.
You know, the bottom was a little slippery, but when I got to the top of the quad, or the face of it,
Mm-hmm.
I had wheel spin and lost my momentum. So when I lost my momentum, my rear wheel tapped the top of it and sent me over the bars on the other side.
Okay.
So and I
You were
landed
all the way at the bottom, if I
I
remember right.
landed at the bottom,
Yeah.
upside down. It threw my handlebars down and pulled my throttle wide open. And
Wait, so
there's pictures all over that there.
No,
You
so
got
was
pictures of
that-
Yeah, that's it right there.
oh,
yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that this
that's
was that same day.
Yeah, that's the same day. That's it. So it pulled the throttle. That's why I landed upside down and pulled the throttle down.
So I grabbed
And
these pictures just to
That's the same
look
day.
at them.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So when I did that, my right leg got caught up behind. I got caught in between the rear wheel and the fender. And yeah, that's a swollen knee there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I stole a bunch of these pictures just because I was going to show you pictures and we talk about it. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's it.
realize
No, that's
that
that
it was
day.
the same day. That's
the
kind
same
of
day.
funny.
Yeah. And Matt Shue came and got me. So he was like, dude, you're all right. I said, I don't think so, but get the bike, because it was brand new motor, everything in it, and it
Yeah.
it locked up. It was gone. So,
Yeah. So the throttle
Yeah.
held wide open on
Yeah.
his ass after he crashed with the
Yeah.
bars going down like that. And then, yeah, she gone.
Yeah. I
So,
ended up selling that one afterwards. Get it done.
yeah. So the funny story to that same night is you have the bike at the house. It was cold that night too. we were kind of checking the bike over, see what it all needed. I think we maybe pulled the head. You're maybe on crutches at this point, like pulled the head off to see what if it was just the piston or for whatever.
Yeah.
And I also had just finished my 05 ZX6, putting it together, and it was. Yeah, you remember this? Yes. So it's so cold, and I needed to test ride it, and I had brand new tires on the thing, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take it for just a quick spin to the store, and I'll be right back."
Yep.
And there's a 90-degree turn, go up. There's another 90-degree turn, and still in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I got to the second turn, and I was not doing anything stupid. I was not going fast. I literally just went.
Yep. Just scratching it off.
Dude, the whole
I remember that
bike just got destroyed, and it was never really the same again until I went to go sell it. At that point, I just went fuck it, and it rat rotted that bike, and I used to ride that bitch every single day to work.
Didn't you make it a track bike?
Yeah, it went to a track bike for a little bit, and then once I went to go work where I'm currently working, we won't say because of the rules. That I was so broke because I took a big pay cut to start at the bottom and work my way up there that I had to drive that thing to work. So then I had to make it halfway street legal. Like one of the fairings was broken off, so the fucking thing would flap all the time and make an annoying ass noise. I went from having 2,000 miles on that bike when I first got it to 11,000 within that first year with how many times I would drive it to work.
Okay, so were you riding this bike because we told you to wash your truck and it didn't work anymore after that?
Oh, fuck. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so I'm not much of a neat freak. Scotty is, and they would always bitch at me about my truck. And I'm like, I go to the track with it. I do, and I would say, I'm not washing my truck because as soon as I wash it, it's going to fall apart. The dirt is the only thing holding that truck together, Scotty.
And we came back to one of those days, and it was clean. It was washed.
And I think it broke down
and it broke down after that.
Yeah, it needed like exhaust pipes or cats or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, fucking see, I'm never washing my truck again.
Yeah.
My kid bitches at me every now and then. He's like, Dad, you need to clean your truck out. And I'm like, the mess is from you, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not me anymore.
It's actually pretty funny. I got him to enjoy doing like car wash vacuuming and stuff because I'll like attack him with a hose and he'll attack me like it's kind of like a little fun game.
Yeah, you gotta make it fun. We'll do it.
Yep. All right. So I've thought of a few stories since. All right. So back to the ZX6 thing. So yeah, drove that thing back, parked in the garage, and then you and I just cracked beers and just kind of looked at our blown up, busted bikes, and we're just like
both of them
crying.
We ended up stripping that ZX6 down, didn't we? After that,
probably. Yeah. I don't know. We
did take the fairings off and all that. Yeah,
it was just a very depressing night.
It was,
and I think that was on a Sunday, and we were both off on Mondays.
Yep.
So we just said screw it, and we just went to having fun.
Yeah.
Or not fun, depressingly crying, taking bikes apart and shit like that, trying to figure out what was going on with them.
Good times.
Okay, so you're talking about bikes and keeping them clean and how you like to keep your stuff all nice. A little flashback reminded to me when day one of me buying my 08 RMZ 450.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
What did I do? Do you remember what you said to me and what I did when you said it?
Not really.
All right, so it came in, and I was like, I got my new bike. And you're like, are you going to actually take care of this one and keep it clean and not destroy the shit out of this one? And I took it, and I dropped it.
He drops it right in front. Brand new bike. This is a brand new bike. It's built right out of the crate, brand new bike. I'm like stunned. I'm like
a mic drop, right?
Yeah.
And your face was like,
I could not believe you did that. Yeah.
Like you were mad. And I just go, I'm going to do way worse to that thing than this right here. And you just kind of went, yeah, you've got a point.
True. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that was a shocking moment there.
Yeah. All right. So this is all around kind of the same time frame, but I wonder, and I wanted to find the pictures because there's pictures of me and you at Highland smoking cigars at a very young age. So there was like, I want to say it was around Memorial Day.
We actually camped that day, didn't we?
We camped out at Highland Park. It's from a Sunday to a Monday.
There was pictures.
Megan, Chinny, you and I.
Yep.
And Chinny's Scott's wife, by the way. I think she was 15 at the time.
No, she
When,
was not. Negative.
So Scott was 27 and she was 15, and we were camping at.
No.
We're gonna do the math
She
on
was
this,
17.
which is legal in Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys were even dating. I think you're just hanging out at that time.
No.
She would just bring you cookies and rice and all kinds of stuff.
Egg rolls,
All the-
man.
the egg,
Egg rolls.
Megan told me to say
Egg rolls.
the egg rolls and bring
Yeah.
up the egg
It
rolls.
was the egg rolls.
The way to Scotty's heart is through
Egg
his
rolls.
stomach
Yeah.
with egg rolls.
Yeah. That was, and they're still going.
So we all went to Highland Park, and Megan and I aren't dating yet, but I'm starting to become a little more enamored, I guess you would say, with her. But we were like really, really good friends.
Right.
All of us were
Yep.
then, and we didn't want to ruin the friendship,
No.
right? So my slick move. Do you remember what I did?
There's no telling. I could probably.
We
name
were
a bunch
all
of
in the
stuff and
same
probably do
tent.
it.
And I brought Megan a blow-up mattress. I brought Zoe was with us.
Yes.
You and
Zoe.
Chinny had
was
one. So I gave Megan the blow-up mattress that would slowly deflate over time.
That's great.
You remember now?
Yes.
She had a spoon with me at Highland.
yeah,
So that
she
was a little,
always-
little test. I think I told her like 5 years later that came up, and I was like, "Oh, do you know that I did this?" She's like, "You
Purpose.
son of a bitch."
Hey, look at us now.
Yeah, married with a kid, and got a
yeah,
good life
exactly.
going on.
You always had some trick up your sleeve.
Yeah. And I got some slick moves. Hey, it worked with Robin.
Yeah, you know what? I have to say that was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
I think we
Later
both
on, it
dodged
was
that
like,
bullet because I didn't take her home that night.
No,
Then I heard some
no.
other stuff later, and I was like,
Yeah, that wasn't a.
Okay.
I'm like, thank you. I thank you. Now I thank you.
"You hate me at first, but now you
No,
thank me for it."
Yeah.
Sorry, people. We're trying to get caught up. We're really busy before the start of the show. So another time that I remember you fully rebuilding a bike, the 07 or 08 CRF 250.
250. Yeah. That was in my little apartment garage.
Yeah, you
Yep.
fully went through that thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember where we
I
went to
don't
go
know if I got
ride?
it because it was blown up, or I think it was clapped
Honestly,
out when I got it. It was. Oh yeah, no, I got that from Wow. I bought it from Wow. I sold my KX 250, my two-stroke that I shouldn't have got rid of that bike. I sold it to get that bike, and it was clapped.
Yeah.
So I got it for a good deal, and yeah, I do what I do and just stripped it and completely rebuilt the motor.
I remember even you
Everything.
like buying valve seats for that thing and sitting
Valve
the head
seats,
off.
everything.
Yeah,
I
like
set it
you
off down South Florida.
fully
Yeah.
went through
Oh, yeah.
the motor. Yeah.
I had to. Yep.
Bearings, everything.
Yep, everything. Every little piece on that bike was brand new.
So the very first place we went to go ride. Do you remember where?
Yeah, you know why? I know where you're going with this. Yep. It's been so long I don't remember the place, but it was over there by the industrial park.
Hmm.
We had a little field there that we'd go riding trails and stuff. And
Yeah, it turns out that's Matt Turner's
Matt Turner.
backyard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Actually
we
bought another bike from him after that one. I bought another YZ250 from him that was in pieces.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I do remember that
Yep.
now. Forgot about that.
That was the one I got stolen from me. That was the 06.
No, we're gonna get to that
Yeah,
later, sir.
so-
That's
Sorry,
that's
I'm not
down.
jumping the gun. All right.
Yeah. I've got a good tie-in to
I
that
gotta
one.
bring that one up too.
Yep.
Oh man, this is an embarrassing night. All right.
Yep. But good stories.
here we go.
This
Yeah,
is the
let's do
same
it.
shit we would be
Yeah.
doing even if we weren't recording right now and you were coming to get some drinks and whatever. So that's why I've made this thing because this shit's so good to be able to talk about this stuff. So I don't remember the name of it, and everybody does, but it's off of near 285 and 85 on the north end, but it's that side. It's like
You go up 400.
Peachtree Industrial
Don't you go-
Boulevard.
Yeah, don't you go up 400?
You can go up 400 and over on 92, and then you'll run into it eventually, or you can go up it's the big exit right before 85, and I
Yeah.
want to say it's Old Peachtree Industrial Boulevard.
Sounds right. Yeah.
But there's a sign there that is well known. Everybody calls it that, and I can't remember. I could text a few people right now, and they'd tell me right
Figure it
away.
out, yeah.
But either way, some people went out and took a single, and they made a jump out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Who
needed
does that?
to come from the other way.
Who does
So I went up to it and went, "Oh, that's built wrong," and locked brakes, rolled it, and got about 10 feet. And I look back to just see, and then an explosion. I think the bike shot an extra 10 feet in the air after, like it hooked the rear fender perfectly and just eject those
You know why?
Why?
Because I put a brand new pipe on it. If you got pictures of that, show them, because I blew that pipe out. That was a brand new pipe. The whole back end.
Oh, that was dual exhaust too.
Yeah, both of them were knocked up. I mean, the packing was all out. Everything. I mean, I annihilated that bike after I just fully. I mean, brand new motor, plastics. I mean, everything on that bike.
And I think we went there because we were like, well, let's not take it to a track for the first time to test ride it. Let's take it out there. We're not paying any money to ride.
Remember who was there with us?
Was Chinny with us?
Mm-hmm. Chinny was there with us that day.
So I remember her taking pictures, and like we did like this pose.
Yeah.
And I will see if I can find them here.
No,
in a
they're all
little
in the
bit.
same area with that, I think.
Yeah. Which, by the way, when I was scrolling through to get pictures, how many fucking pictures did you take at the Nationals in Supercross?
Well, about over
I swear. Yeah, I was gonna say there was 1,000 pictures. I had to scroll past. I'm like, this is all Supercross and motocross races he's been to.
I took about 800 pictures that day. Yeah.
God.
I was right in the front. I had this badass freaking Sony camera with the scope on it and everything, and that was my test day. So I had to test it out and see get some pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, he got some pictures, people. Let's see one of them. I showcased one that I wanted to ask you about. So were you fully erect when you got this picture?
Yeah, see why I got the long jacket on? Yes. I had to get the picture. So that was, golly, that was in California. We went to California. I flew there to meet my dad. Yeah. And you can see she squatted down for me. She squatted down for me. So, yeah.
That's pretty funny because she probably thought you were taking it from here up, but no, you actually got the squat.
I wish she would have stood up because she was face level with. I mean, it was perfect.
Have you seen the little video that somebody made, and where it's like me forcing my kid to watch 2011 Supercross with Diana Dahlgren so that my kid doesn't, or I forget what it is, but it's basically kind of like saying so he gets excited about women kind of thing.
That was a. Yeah, I actually went to the Anaheim Supercross there to meet my dad and.
Oh, that's Anaheim?
Guy. That's Anaheim, yeah.
I figured that was Texas round or something since you're in San Antonio.
I was living here. I was living here. My dad called me up, said, "Hey, we got a room if you can just get here. Everything's free. We got your ticket, everything." So
nice. So you just had to get a plane ticket.
Yeah, my good buddies that own KTM in San Antonio had the place, and they were actually doing a KTM ride day the following day or whatnot. And
yeah. I forgot about it because that was around the time that your dad had the KTM dealer or something like that, right?
Yeah, it was like I'm gonna say 2009, 2010.
Oh, that was even earlier than that.
Yeah, because
okay.
we had just moved. It was like we went there that, and then he called me up and said, "Hey, I got a good gig for you here if you want to come and run this KTM shop with us." And
I mean,
how do I
that's
say no
honestly,
to my dad? You know?
Yeah,
So,
that's honestly the next thing that I wanted to get into, and that's one of the things that's just a few notches down. Was the owning, like, how did the whole KTM thing come about? And like,
well, I mean, we owned KTM. My dad, well, not we.
Or do you want to say the name of the shop too?
Northeast Cycles. We owned in '97. Is way before.
Oh wow! What
Yeah,
what city is that?
In San Antonio. So we took it over in San Antonio. KTM, we named it Northeast Cycles, and we actually had a track going at that time called Creekside. And juggling both was just a lot of work. And I mean, I was only 18 years old when we had that place. So I was real hot in racing and didn't really care about work. So I mean, I was there to help the dad after work or after school, and so we got in KTM's way back when they were like that really bright, like pumpkin orange.
Oh yeah.
And then they finally made the transition over to, the darker. I think in '98 it came in the darker orange.
Do you guys use that word in Texas?
What's that?
Transition.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Comes around a little bit. But no, I mean, after that, I mean, that's when we really started, as you say, bleeding orange. We really loved it. So,
I will say, when Scotty goes hard into something, he goes hardcore into it. So when he says he was bleeding orange, if you were on a KTM, you were on a piece of shit, in Scott's opinion. Oh my God, I just thought of something. I thought of something that's going to trigger you, hopefully. I gotta write this down.
But yeah, so I mean, later on, of course, like I said, my dad called me and said that we had another KTM shop, and that was God, I'm going mind blank here. I can't, for some reason, I can't remember the name of the shop. But anyways, he called me and wanted me to come help him run it, and he was the mechanic, and I ran the front, and that's where we pretty much started off from there. That's what made me go back to Georgia, pretty much, was to go work with him.
You mean Texas?
Wow, yeah, Texas.
Cut back on the
Yeah.
3 sips you've had of your whiskey there, sir.
I've had 3 before here.
That was
My pregame.
That was 2 hours ago. You
pregame.
text me you've had 3 Jack and Cokes already.
Oh yeah, I kept going.
My man.
Don't stop.
And I'm over here sober as shit because I didn't
So
get the
Georgia to
pregame.
Texas, yes.
Yeah.
And ended up taking my wife back, and we got married there. So
Wouldn't she be your wife after you guys got
Yeah.
there? Oh my God! You know what I just
Yeah.
remembered? I remembered because you guys had your regular wedding in Texas,
Mhm.
but her parents Chinese,
Yeah.
very traditional. So you guys
Very.
had to come back here
yes,
to have a Chinese
Chinese
wedding,
wedding,
and
yep.
Megan and I got to go to that. It was literally in Chinatown in the Atlanta
Yep.
area, and it was awesome. It was the first time I ever had Hennessy, and I love that shit ever since then. I mean,
a bottle on every table.
dude, 9 inches
Or
of
4
me
bottles on
has
every
always
table,
kind of
too,
been black,
yeah.
but after I had
Yeah.
Hennessy,
Yeah,
came
that was
full.
a interesting night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was funny because there were so many just random foods that were in front of us.
Mhm.
And I don't give a fuck. I'll eat it. There were some things I'd eat and I'd be like, nope. And Megan's just like, you idiot. Why don't you just eat the chicken? I'm like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah, at least
I'll try it. And if I don't like it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I got fairly intoxicated and we were with a bunch of Chinese people that we didn't think spoke any English or whatever. And I think I started making Chinese accents while talking to them.
Oh my gosh.
And then they started speaking English later, and I was like, these motherfuckers.
Check, please.
But yeah, that was a fun, good night.
Yeah, it
Yep.
was. Yeah, that was a lot, though. Wow. Yeah. So back to motocross.
Yeah. All right. So, not motocross yet. We've talked about the house party that we had.
Which one?
No. The party house
Yeah.
that we were at all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, every single Saturday was basically a party.
Yep.
Do you remember the neighbor come barely?
I remember it like it was yesterday.
What?
That was-
I barely remember that because I do remember, I think John Dean and I were playing Guitar Hero in front of the TV, and the main entrance door is right there. And literally, it was like this blonde Karen comes bailing through the door, and it was like kind of cut off.
yeah.
So
Well,
what
pretty
all
much was.
happened? Like, you
Okay,
take me down memory
so-
road on that.
Just to give everybody a visual of what the house looked like. I mean, going in. I mean, if you're sitting in the living room, I mean, we got like white carpets. Everything was bound off. You had to have your shoes off. Couches everywhere. And on the other side of the couch, I mean, we went big that night. We had a full-on DJ there. There was a DJ booth right there playing the music. You guys were playing the rock band. And, I mean, we had so many people there. It was just unreal. So this lady, I mean, I'm just sitting there watching you guys, and all of a sudden, out of corner of my eye, I see the door just fly open. This lady screaming.
Slammed into
Dude,
the
I mean,
wall,
just
too.
can't-
Shook
I mean,
the house.
she just invited herself on in. I'm like, who is this? I mean, she went
Were you like,
off,
strippers
cussing
are
and
here?
everything. Yeah. I said, wait a minute, she mad. What's going on here? I mean, she just went off, and I just, of course, me being a hothead, I was like, okay,
No.
who the hell is, all right, I'm going outside. What's going on here? And after her little rant, she really didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
She just came in screaming and then walked out. She realized that how many people were in there. She's like, okay, I came in here screaming. I need to walk out.
Yeah,
So she walked out.
DJ cut the music.
Yeah.
Everybody's staring
Yeah.
at me.
Yeah. So I follow out, and her husband and some other guy are walking up our driveway. I'm like, okay, these are the guys I'm going to fight. Like, well, what's going on? He goes, man, I'm so sorry. I tried to stop her, but you guys got to understand. Y'all are here every single weekend doing this. You got cars all in the cul-de-sac blocking our mailbox. We can't even get into our freaking driveway. I mean, something's got to give. I was like, I understand. I'm so sorry. And we'll there. But I was waiting for him to like really start to mouth off to me because I was ready.
You were good and
So
sauced
I
up,
was ready.
to
I was
pop
sauced
in the
up. I
mouth.
was ready.
What is
But-
it? It's like shirt or gloves, shirt, chest. Was that the
Yeah.
Gilmore move or whatever?
Gloves. Yeah, gloves, shirt, and yeah.
Chest.
Yeah, chest. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. It was like Mighty Ducks or something. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Was it
I
that?
think it was. Throw the gloves.
I remember being
Phil
hockey,
shirt,
but
and then
I thought it
Tim,
was
yeah.
Gilmore for some
Yeah.
reason.
No, he just slugs people.
So whose truck was it that was blocking the driveway? Because I think I remember that.
Are we naming names?
Yeah, for this
I
one.
think it was a Nissan. The old
No.
Frontier Nissan. No, it wasn't. It was
a
somebody.
Ford
It was a
Ranger.
Ford Ranger. It was a Ford Ranger. I don't know who had the Ford Ranger.
Turner.
Oh my God, it was. Yes. That's right. That's right.
I should have. I was at his
Had the
kid's
Ford
first
Ranger.
birthday the
Yeah,
other day. I
that's
should have
right.
brought that up to him.
Wow. Yes, that's what it was. He was.
And honestly,
I
that's
mean-
the thing is, it was like 2.5 feet in their driveway, like forward. They could have gone around.
I mean, they
it,
could
you
have
know what I
gotten
mean?
in their driveway. It was at
But we were
night. You're like,
partying
the mailman's
every
not
single.
coming.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I don't know if she was trying to get to her mailbox. She just got home. I don't know.
Didn't she
but-
make a complaint about the school bus has to make like a 10-point turn to get out? Like, wasn't that one of the things she screamed when
Yes,
she
but
walked in?
It was 11 o'clock at night when you showed up.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember you're like, talking
Yeah.
about the fucking school
I
bus
know.
can't turn around. It's
What?
fucking 11 o'clock at night.
What are you talking about? Yeah, it was. She didn't know what she was doing. And you know what? It's funny you said a Karen walked in. I don't think Karen even existed back then.
No, no, memes weren't a thing about
Yeah,
Karen back
no.
then.
No, but
I gotta
yeah,
start-
that was every single weekend. Those are very interesting parties.
I remember you actually tried to get me to pay rent and move in that house, and I was like, nah, I don't know, I can't afford it. My parents' basement's for free right now. I'm broke
Yeah.
going to college.
I mean, you just lived on the other side of Georgia, though.
Yeah, and then it worked out because then I just slept on the couch for free for
Yeah.
a long time.
I know you found some pictures of that one. Where I know you don't want to embarrass yourself on this one.
No, honestly, I went so hardcore. I had that idea about the video we made earlier
Yeah.
today at like 10 a.m. So on my lunch, I spent, instead of looking for pictures, I went down making that
I
video
really wish you had told me that you were doing this because I got a really good picture of you.
with Matatha pulling my hair back.
Hell yeah. Yeah. You're flat out, no shirt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd have been a good one for you.
I mean, find it. I don't care. You gotta have 4 minutes when we play that video that we made
Yeah, there
earlier.
we go.
So,
yeah. We'll bring
so
that up.
here's a good one that Megan wanted me to ask you at that same house.
Oh man.
Why don't you tell the people about the time you helped her change her oil in her Tacoma?
Was that hers or was that Brian's?
No, that was hers. Brian had a Frontier.
That was Brian. I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
What?
So that was actually Brian's car, his truck. If I know what you're talking about.
No. Her Tacoma. She said that you helped her change her oil. But-
Okay, so this is what happened. I went out there and Brian was helping her at first.
Okay.
So I went out there and I was like, "What's going on?" And they go, "We're trying to find a drain plug." Okay, cool. So they think, "I think it's this one." I'm looking at it and like, I don't know, but I could have sworn this was Brian's truck, not hers. But we pulled the drain plug out, and as soon as I did it, I shoved it back in because the fluid that came out was red.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. No. Stop." Threw it back in. It's like, okay, that's the tranny oil.
Yes, that's what
not-
it was.
So from what I remember, that was Brian's Frontier that we did that to.
No,
We
it was her
completely-
Tacoma.
Because he completely drained the freaking tranny oil. And I was like, no, see the color? That's red. That you drained. That's not your oil. So they ended up putting new oil in after they did it and overflowed it. So we had to drain it all back out. So we had to drain like all this oil out of it because they never drained the oil because they drained the tranny fluid.
So she
Yeah.
remembered it wrong then, and she was like, "Scotty, help me change my fluid." And it started draining. I'm like, "That's red. I don't think that's
Yeah,
right."
no,
and he's
no,
like,
no.
"No, that's fine." And then she drove it like a quarter, like to the end of the neighborhood, and
And
it
yeah,
locked.
stopped. No,
on her.
that was Brian's mess there.
Yeah,
Because I was like, this
Well-
is red, and you didn't even check the plug's over here.
yeah.
So,
We're not
that
saying
was-
his last name, but we can go
Yeah.
ahead and say that
Yeah.
dude's an idiot.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. All right. So this is actually, and I think you made a note about the us racing together. This is to me was an awesome time for both of us.
Oh yeah.
So we actually hustled Bremen's A class.
It was so hot. It's 105 degrees out too that year.
Yeah, so every single
We were doing the night racing, right?
it was a
Yeah,
night
night
race.
racing,
It was
yeah.
a Saturday night Moto Madness series in 2010, I think.
Yeah, might have been.
And I said, fuck it. I'm going to A class because if might as well try to make some money back. And
Yeah.
I did like one race at Bremen, and I was the only A rider that showed up, and they're like, $35. It's like, wait, what? I thought like A class
yeah.
had payback. And
Yeah.
they're like, there has to be 2 or more people.
Yeah.
And this, of course, is after the fallout. There's not many people showing up to the race. So I came up with a bright idea, and I said, Scott, come with me every single Saturday night, the Bremen races. We'll race A, and we'll split the money for the race.
And
So
what did
instead of-
I tell you?
I don't remember.
You remember what I told you about that? I said, I am not anywhere near any shape to be
Yeah.
racing expert class right now.
And I
I'm like,
think
you know
I
what?
was
I'll
like,
just go.
I was like, I know, but we're still better than the B riders there. And I'm going to win. You'll get second. We'll get free seat time in a way. We'll make money instead of lose money. I think we ended up splitting $70 every single night.
Yeah.
There was a few nights where Chris Inc. and other people would end up
Right.
showing up, but still we'd end up going either 1-4 or 2-4. Or there's sometimes you got a
was-
third out of like 5
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, there were some times where you'd have some good races or whatever.
That
But
was-
and my goal kind of was that too, because you're like, I'm out of shape, is to almost like race you back into shape.
Yeah.
in a
it
way.
pretty much was, yeah.
But I feel like we did that for either the full season or for whatever it was.
did it
like,
for the full
we did it
series.
for
Yeah, we
like
did the whole
a full
series.
summer. We
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
basically race for free, and it was
Yeah.
just a super fun time. And I remember at that time I was working at what was called Cycle Nation of Canton. I
Yeah.
think they're Ride Now in Canton now, and I talked them in to give me the truck, trailer, and pay for gas.
Yeah.
So then I'd pick your ass up from Wow on the
Yep.
way
I
there.
forgot about that place.
And
yeah.
then we would
Yeah.
fucking set up the easy ups and they'd have mats because they had that race team that folded around 09.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just I think one of my favorite times of doing like just going to the track to race Saturday nights.
Yeah.
But
That was, I think I was on my 07 or 08.
I thought that was on the
CR
Honda that
450.
you destroyed.
Yeah, that's
the one that
no,
you
I was on at 450.
were you?
Yeah. No, I sold as soon as I. So we did one race at Bremen, and it was me, you, Brian, and some other people in this race, and I was on my 250, and I was just practically blowing this thing up trying to get around a corner. It just had no power. This thing was such a dog. It had no power in it. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this thing. I sold it. Sold it and bought that 450 I had. And that's what we went racing on. So that's what I had. I mean, they looked similar, so it was easy to mix up. But that was ended up racing the end of the I think the end of the series with the 450.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what year would that have been then? 07 450?
I think it was an 07.
08?
07 or
Honestly,
08.
one of
Yeah.
their better 450s they made.
It was a good bike. Yeah, it was a really good bike.
I can't it was almost just like a blur of that all happening because it was almost like the same stuff every single weekend. But can you remember like either a race or a time or that I fucked up and you actually did beat me or something stupid I did? Like I can't really remember any event.
Man, I
from
don't
that time.
know. I mean, I crashed so much, man. I don't know if I ever did beat you. I mean, I come right behind you in second, but I mean, I was always on a dumb bike, man. I was always flipping bikes every time I was doing that. So it was like,
Yeah,
was on a
I remember you would
125,
get
I
a
was on
bike that you,
250, and
Yeah.
then I finally got on to 450, and that was that KX250. I should have got rid of.
yeah.
I should have just kept it. That was Ken Howerton's old bike I had. Never should have got rid of that bike.
Well, that leads me into a next little segment then, because I saw this thing and I felt like there was a good story behind it. So, talk about this thing.
All right, so this is when. God, when is this?
Don't worry about the timestamp because this was a
I want to say this is about 2012, 2013. I got into the armor racing and everything, and my dad had this old bike just sitting there and gave it to me. So I rebuilt that bike from ground up. Frame, suspension, shocks, engine. I mean, every piece on that bike was brand new on it. That's the YZ400 that I built. I don't know if you saw the other pictures, but I had the lightning on the tank. afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So,
I did see a few
the
pictures
Bob
of that
Hanna,
one.
the Bob Hanna, I think it was the Bob Hanna replica, but it was. I think I ended up taking it off because the tank cracked.
Oh,
So I think that's a new tank. That's why. But yeah, that was a pretty bike. I never raced that one or anything. I ended up selling it because it was just a new, thing for me to do. But yeah, it was a pretty neat bike.
so talking about Kent Howerton, found this picture of you and him, and there's your dad. Who's that there on the
that's
left?
Chase.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's Chase, and he's a young buck. But yeah, I mean, I knew who Kent was at that time. My dad was really good friends with him. But yeah, I was like, hey man, I need to take a picture with you. I'm going back. This is when I actually flew back to hang out with these guys, and when I was living here in Georgia.
I figured with the WoW shirt on, yeah.
So then I went back and get a picture so I can show my friends that I actually know you. But super, super humble guy. I mean, he's always willing to help. And I'll tell you what, I mean, at his age right there, you're not beating him. That dude is so fast. Just his technique, the way he rides is just unreal. You can really learn a lot from that guy.
I remember you talked to me about his son coming up, and you thought that he was going to come through and just whack. But I think he kind of just was like...
Well, not to get into too of much of Kent's personal... I'm pretty sure everybody knows he's got Parkinson's, so he's had that for a while. But yeah, his son is just ungodly fast. I've never seen anybody go through a corner as fast as him. I mean, that dude was... Once he got bigger, Kent had to stop him. He had to stop him from racing at one point because he was so fast, he was afraid he was going to hurt himself. He was so young.
Yeah. That's the story I was wanting to tell. So I remember you telling me that.
I mean, he was on. Later on, he ended up being. They were racing 4-strokes, but he kept blowing the motors up, literally like sending the rods through the cases, blowing up.
It's a good way to do it.
He was like, you know what, this is costing me too much money. We're going back on 2-strokes. So those were Hondas they were on. So he went to the KTM's, and he's actually racing the KTM 300SX. And I mean, we did a suspension for him and everything. And this dude is a jumper. I mean, he likes to just send it. So we had to make his suspension. I mean, I've never seen so many stacks in a suspension just to keep him from bottoming out. He jumps so high and far and stuff. So, but yeah, he stopped. Just he decided to go to a different path. Just because of seeing what racing through the years has done to his dad.
Yeah.
It's hard on the body, and he can't really get around as much, and Dad's not going to races with him, so he kind of just, I'm gonna ride it here a little bit with him, but I'm not gonna actually get into pro. But he could have been one of the greats.
Yeah, like I remember you saying something about that, and I was kind of always wondering like where he went, what happened with it, that kind of stuff. So kind of answers that.
I mean, there's a lot of stories we can go on with Kent. I mean,
I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but I did meet him one time.
Did you?
My buddy let me race his bike in the 05-06 FTR Motocross series. And the last round, because something fucked up on my bike, I needed a bike to lose the championship on. And I've got a championship losing scar all the way down my side from the guy who beat me in the championship, sprocket dragging up my side.
Oh, no.
So his pipe got fucked up,
Yeah.
And
all about that.
Instead, cause I was so broke, he's like, tell you what, instead of you buying me new pipe, I'm buying this vintage bike from Kent Howerton. Drive to him, pick it up. I'll pay for the fuel. So basically my time to drive out to, was it Houston?
He lives in San Antonio.
Was it San Antonio?
Oh, yeah, in Pelotas. Yeah.
So had to go all the way to there from Tampa,
Mhm.
Florida, basically. And I thought he was getting in at 5 a.m. from his flight.
Unless y'all were meeting him at a race or something in Houston. I don't know.
I can't remember exactly what it was. This is 2006 that this happened. So I'm thinking 5 a.m. So I leave work on Saturday, 6 p.m., drive straight through the night, all the way to Texas, only to find out it was 5 p.m. that he was getting in.
Oh, no.
So I literally sat outside that dude's house for 12 hours.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
In Texas.
Wow.
In the heat, in my truck, with the windows rolled down, no AC, no nothing, just sweating my balls
You
off.
must have done this right before I met you then.
It was, I moved up in 07.
Okay.
So it was a year before moving up here. And but super cool dude. And like I'd heard the name, but I didn't know the legacy kind of thing.
Yeah, the Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah. So it was funny. I feel like I told you that at some point down, like when we were hanging out or whatever. But yeah, like that's one of my memories of meeting him and picking up a bike for him. And then, because I only got this, I mean, I drove through the whole night. I think I slept a total of 3 hours, then drove right the fuck back at 5 p.m. all the way through the night again, back to Florida.
It's a tough haul.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was 20 then. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can do this kind of thing. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go through some of the list of things that you sent me. And how long do you think we've been doing this? How long have we been bullshitting?
Maybe an hour?
God damn. Right on the money.
Yeah.
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 I figured you'd be like, I don't know, 30 minutes?
No, it's about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
You've been checking your watch.
No, I haven't.
I can watch.
Dude, I'm
this
not-
is being filmed, Scotty. I can tell. I'm going to go back and call you out and
just
be like, this
straight,
motherfucker looked at his
focused here.
watch. All right, so you text me about Cycle Ranch knocking yourself out. What happened with that?
All right, so here, Cycle Ranch.
Well, what year?
You know, when I moved here, I always talked a big hype of Cycle Ranch.
Dude,
always.
Everything
I
was
never
being
shut up about
compared
it.
to Cycle
Yeah,
Ranch.
never shut up about
This place sucks.
it.
Yeah, because our little angry buddy here would have his bike not working right, so he'd be like,
I blame the track.
this bike sucks, this track sucks, this bike would work great on Cycle Ranch. And I'm just like, dude, just fucking ride the goddamn bike. Because, I'm the worst person about suspension. It
Yeah.
could literally be set up for a 400-pound man, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, I'm having fun.
Exactly.
And you'd be like, fuck this bike.
Yeah.
Throw it down.
I only started doing that when I actually started working on suspension. That's when it went downhill. Because
Did it get worse?
before I met you in racing, I never messed with my suspension. Ever.
So what did
I've
you
never
complain about then?
Anything.
You had to complain about something.
That's too long ago. But no, that day I was actually racing expert class, moving up. I was pushing myself to get out of intermediate. So I was at this track 4 times a week. And riding my KX250 that I had, the one that I sold. I was riding that one. And it was actually a bike that he gave me, and I probably can't say exactly where the bike came from.
There's the statute of limitations have passed. Say it.
Okay, well, it was actually a factory Kawasaki bike that he raced in the Astrodome. So that Kawasaki gave him.
What year would have this been?
04. An 04 KX250.
Howerton was racing a
yeah.
factory.
They gave it to him to race in that night, yeah. Well, it may not be. I mean, it was an 04. Well, yeah, it had to have been. It was a brand new bike. It was the 2004 I had.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been racing fucking Supercross. He would have been.
He raced that night.
He was his 40s.
He raced that night. It was just a thing for him to come up in Houston to race. That's the information I got from that guy on the left. So, my dad. That's where the bike came from. Because we bought it from him. We had it in our shop at Northeast Cycles.
You're going to have to go back and look at the 04 Houston Astrodome race results, because I don't think Ken Howerton was racing
I
it.
think he was. Got the bike. He got the bike. So whether
sure
he
he
raced or
didn't
not,
do
he got
like
the bike.
he rode around the track
could have
and like
been.
waved to people?
Hey, it may have been, but it was his bike. That's what they gave him. That's all I know.
All right,
But
we're gonna find this.
Anyways, I've been racing this bike, and I was there 4 times a week, getting my stamina up and getting my speed up, because this is, of course, my home track. And Cycle Ranch is probably one of the hardest tracks to win on. I mean, it's very difficult to win there. I mean,
why is that?
I don't know, because maybe the deep sand and the elevation. I mean, the heat. I mean, it can be a number of things, but yeah, like I said, I was there for 4 times that week, and Sunday, maybe Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday. We usually go riding on Sundays back then. Sundays, we all went. My brother, dad, everybody, unloaded. I get on the bike. I've been out there 4 times. No problem. Go out there, and I'm going as fast as I can go the first lap. And that's the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, because my dad always told me, don't ever go all out on the first lap.
Never.
Because you don't know what's going on. But I did, because I was there 4 times that week. And I was fine. So, come around to the finish line, I send it. I mean, I hit it full on, probably 3rd gear, and
I was gonna say, what size jump was that?
oh, it's good. God, I don't know. I want to say, I mean, I'd be lying. I really don't know the distance of it, but it's a long, really long tabletop, very long. But when
Like
when
Bremen table size?
longer than Bremen. Bremen shot you more up.
What does it say? The
wasn't
Bremen
as high.
80-foot table, by the time we were actually racing, was like 65, 70.
Yeah, so it wasn't as
So-
high, but it was long.
Okay.
So you
So
really
probably
had,
100 foot.
Yeah, it probably.
Amp quad size?
So, yes.
Because that was about
Yes.
1 to 110-ish,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
But you really.
But it was a out instead
Yes,
of up.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that day, it wasn't an out.
It was an up.
It was an up. And so the only thing I remember was in and out, throwing blood up and going, it was just done.
Yeah.
I woke up in my bathroom, dry heaving. And finally, I guess I came to, and it was like, my dad was staring at me. He's like, "You okay?" I was like, "Where am I?" Because the last thing I was on my bike.
Yeah.
So I woke up at home. And I
actually call that time travel.
Yeah, time traveled with no memory. With memory
It works
loss.
for dirt bike crashes and alcohol.
Yeah. So the picture you showed before of the Yamaha
Mm-hmm.
was my Kawasaki was worse than that. I broke the triple trees off with my face. So basically, what happened was, from what I heard, good buddy of mine, I can't remember his name, but he said that all I saw was a flash of green go by me. A flash of green, and then you were out on the finish line. So what happened was they refaced all the jumps, and I didn't know they refaced all the jumps because I was out there all for 4 days that week, and I get out there all out and didn't realize they refaced the jumps. So it just shot me up and way out. So I land. So if anybody knows the soccer ranch, the finish line is a big tabletop, then it goes down in the landing, and then it comes up another hill, then takes a right and goes around to the finish line and comes up. Well, I landed on the upper side. That's how far I over jumped it.
Yeah.
So, and it was in the morning, so you know how deep the dirt can be, and especially sand.
So it's just going to stop
It
you
stopped.
immediately. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it stopped. My face hits everything. I got scars here, bit my teeth, broke teeth, bit my tongue. The strap cut my,
Is that why you have
chin.
summer teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Some are here, some are there,
Yeah,
some
exactly.
aren't. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that was so to this day, I mean, I don't even remember anything that ever happened. It never came back to me.
Mhm.
But I would never jump that jump again.
So, what would mess me up is you sent me one text. I thought you just sent me cycle wrench crash knocked me out.
Yeah.
And then I got another text that was like, that ended my MX career. And I was like, oh.
No, maybe I have to.
I know,
that.
but like in the things you sent, like, because it shows you things on your phone.
Mhm.
I saw that and that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I opened it up that I realized, oh, there's a shit ton of things he sent me. Right?
Yeah.
So I did copy and paste it. Well, actually, alcohol's kicking in. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so no, so that's what messed me up is like you have Chase's number, and then it was like then I finally making the decision to retire from MX. So the last thing you sent is times I met you racing, then finally making the decision to retire from MX.
Yeah.
That's what basically if I go in line. So which of
Did it
those
have,
jumps was
DBSA
the
on there before that?
DBSA?
Yeah, Dirt Bikers Club, Azar's Ranch.
We'll get back to that then.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it was up
we're
to the top.
trying to go in like an order,
Yeah.
right? So what about the Zara's, aka Dirt
Zara's,
Bikers of San
yeah.
Antonio time?
DBSA,
Kent
yeah.
Hamilton trying to follow Hamilton through some tricky stuff.
Yeah. So basically, this is Zars, which is Leaf Zars. He owned Dirt Bikers of San Antonio. It was way out, Forestville, 700 acres. You can get a key, go out there, ride all you want. And this is where I learned to ride. So it's just all trails and sand tracks, motocross tracks, everything. So that's where we met, or I met him for the first time, Ken Howerton. So, I mean, we would literally, I mean, just before we get to that, I mean, I was on a Honda XR 200, and we'd only go out there when it rained because it was all deep sand.
Mhm.
So when it rained, we'd get
Oh, it's
motocross
like crew. It's
bikes,
perfect. Yeah.
perfect. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
make your own track, and my dad and I did, I think, 200 miles that day, just on the track. We spent all day long and just annihilated that bike because it's a little tiny 4-stroke, and I mean the clutch was gone in it. I mean that was the bike we did practicing on. That's where I learned to ride. And then I got into the woods, and he always told me getting in the woods would teach you to be faster on the motocross track. And
I think it works both ways.
Yeah, I mean it's great. And then one day we get out there on a Sunday, and it sounded like we were at a national. I mean, just 2 strokes just went off in the distance, and it's like, my dad goes, "Oh, the big boys are here." They all showed up, and it was all Ken Howerton and all his buddies and everything, all in the CR250s. And
what year would have this been?
I want to say 98.
Okay.
97, 98, somewhere around in there. Maybe 97, 98. It's when we owned the Northeast Cycles.
Okay.
But I didn't know anything of Ken Howerton then. I was 17, 18 years old. And running back, I was, at that time, after we had the Honda, but I also had this clapped out 89 KX125 that I rode. So that was my first bike. So we were running around trying to keep up with this guy over here. And, a little bit later, just to fast forward a little bit, I ended up getting on a 98 KTM 125, and I would race some of the nationals out there, the hare scrambles out there. But as I was doing that, I was racing with,
Is that the bike?
No, it's not the bike. That's my 250 there.
No.
Yeah. That's an 01 or 02 KTM 250 SX there.
All right. Yeah. That was one of the pictures I stole.
That was my Jerry McGrath replica there.
The Bud Light graphics.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the bike that I'm giving away for the show. You got to check that thing out before you go. When we go on the break, I'll run you downstairs and see it.
Yeah, but real quick, I learned a lot of technique from this guy. I mean, standing up, pinching knees. I mean, these guys were just flying through the woods. Motocross. I'm just flying through. They didn't have woods bikes. They were on their motocross bikes. So this place backed up to the San Antonio River. And when you get down in the back, there was a big, giant cliff that was just straight up, and there's big, giant oak trees at the top. And, you could see like a washed out gully you could go up just to make it up or whatever. And that's what we were doing, just gooning around. And here comes Kent jumping down, and he goes, "What are y'all doing?" I thought, "Oh, we're just having fun right here." And he goes, "You guys are going up that? Let me show you something." And he goes up halfway, and I didn't even know it was there. But he goes up and kicks off to the right side and hits this little kicker and jumps all the way to the top. Like,
probably something you would see in like Crusty Demons in the Dirt or something, right?
So I'm like, okay. And he goes, "Your turn." I'm like, me being a hothead, like, all right, cool, I'm going to do it. So I get running up there and just jump all the way to the top. And he didn't tell me that when you get to the top, you got to duck because of the oak tree this big around going across the trail. It's the branch just going across the trail. So as soon as I land, I hit the top of my head. It didn't knock me off the bike, but I hit the top of my head on this thing. And it, I felt it. I mean, you're hitting a tree.
Yeah.
So, but just stuff like that. I mean, we were going through and jumping that. We did that all day long, and then we'd follow him back. And there was a whoop trail that we'd call the whoop trail. It was all sand, and we'd go through it and just wear ourselves out and hitting it. And so he went through, and we were following him. And this dude is like, I mean, the way he rode was smart. He would take one jump to the side, land and jump to the other side, land and jump to the other side, and he was just real, like,
it's like a flow to it,
keeping his energy, and we're all just hammering everything, having fun. But just everything, just watching him. I mean, even the father and son race we did at Cycle Ranch with my dad, I had to race against Ken Howerton
and his son,
but Derek was a little guy, so my dad raced against him, and I raced against Howerton.
Did he still wax your dad's ass?
Well, no.
Probably wouldn't have.
But
it was probably close.
Cowerton was just so fast, he was already gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it didn't really matter. It's pretty cool to do. Like, Monster does that now. Like, Chad Reed and his kid did it, and my buddy Troy and his son did it. Like that's cool that they'll do things like that.
It was a VPGP, what we did. It was really cool. But, yeah, I mean, just watching this guy, I mean, he made fun of me one time at Cycle Ranch because I wanted him to follow me. I said, "Dude, just come follow me and see what I'm doing wrong. He's trying to teach me." He maybe lasted like 4 turns and he was gone, like got off the track. I went back and I was like, he goes, "Dude, you were all over the place." And he taught me, you can't just go across the track and go here and then go across the track. You really need to, because he was the one to make the lines. So he knew in his head, like geometry, the shortest points to go get around the track. So,
Yeah.
because he had racing in his head. That was, you're gonna race, you got to find the fastest way around the track, and that's the way he rode. And I was just all over the place. He goes, "Dude, you're all over the place. I'm not following you anymore." Like, all right, whatever. But no, his tips and everything, he'd get me on the field and show me how to, just jump over a log. I mean, this guy could do trials, literally do a trials course on a CR250.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, it's just, and wouldn't even think about doing that, but it was his talent and technique was amazing.
So there was one track, I think this was you that told me. There's apparently a race that happens every year, and that's why I was wondering if it was the Zara's place, where everybody'd come. The old man that owns the place would have an open practice and basically would call out people for being in the wrong class, put people in the right class. Like, the Grove?
This is the Grove.
Okay, so explain, because I just thought that was a really neat concept of like what all went on with that.
So my dad and Chase went down one time down to Harlingen, Texas, way down south, where this guy lived, and went to the Grove. And you go to this guy's house, good friend of ours, and you go in the back, and it's an orange grove. That's all you see, orange trees everywhere. I mean, just all over the place. But right in the middle of it, he's got a track, little sand track. Gates up. I mean, gate hold.
And from what I remember, you said the track was pretty cool,
it was
right?
Perfect. It was. The way it's set up was just awesome. It's all over YouTube. You can see them. I think Chase has one on his YouTube channel. He's got one you can see.
Oh, we should text him on break, see if we can get a video of that.
Yeah. But he. But okay, so at the beginning, you get out there and you practice, and the guy would stand out there and watch everybody. And, if you're saying you're racing the beginner class, and he's like, no, you're not. You're racing, you're racing expert class or intermediate class. I mean, he put you in the right place, and it would be an even race for everybody. And they did that once a year, and you had to be invited, and we got invited that next year. I went. That was a mess. That first year I went there, I ended up putting the wrong oil in my bike, my YZ250 that I got from Turner. I rebuilt it all. But I was.
Wait, are you talking like you put transmission oil in
put diff oil in there on accident and didn't realize.
In the transmission.
It said ATF on it, and didn't know what it was. I was using this Bell Ray stuff, and it looked different. I was like, I don't know really why does it look different? I don't really know. So I put it in there, and used it. Well, when the race came by, I was going around and coming out of the whoops, and he had to take a left right in front of the gate where everybody was standing, and I took a hard left, and the bike stood up and shot straight right all into the crowd. And I just locked everything up and figure out what's going on. And then I got back on the track. You go around, you come back, you do this triple, and right when you do this other triple, you land and have to take a hard left. Well, when I did that hard left again, the bike stood up and shot me over into the banners off the rim. I could not figure out why. My bike the clutch wasn't working. The clutch was sticking.
It
was sticking and popping up.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? So I was like, Dad, the only thing I can think of is this oil. And I showed him the oil. He goes, dude, this is differential oil for ATVs. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was like the biggest mistake I ever made because it looked so similar to what I was already using. Man, that was I think I have a helmet cam video of that one on my YouTube. That one. But yeah, that was a really neat place. They have that out there. That's really cool place to go to and ride.
So, but you were telling me about how the guy would basically, I guess you would go with the practice that you're supposed to be in, and he would just stand there with his arms folded, kind of like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then he basically would be like, number 23, you're going from B to A.
He did. I was out there first time. I was just riding, and we were doing the practice, and he's standing there watching everybody, and we're all done, and he's all right. So he goes, all right, everybody stand in line and figure out, fastest to slowest where you think you're going to be. So everybody kind of looked at each other, knew who they were, and kind of placed each other. And I kind of stood in the middle and got in there, and he goes, where's number 23 on the Yamaha? I'm like, right here. He goes, front of the line. I'm like, no, come on. He goes, no, front of the line. You're up there with Chase. So Chase was up there, and me and this other guys, and said, dude, y'all are going to kill me through these whoops. I was not used to the whoops. These whoops were not really spaced out correctly, as you would say. So they were kind of shady at the beginning, and my bike wasn't working right. So it was like, God, I need to be like in the middle. Just put me in the middle because I know y'all are gonna annihilate me through these whoops. And because Chase was quadding in and then tripling out and doing
Chase
all this
texted
stuff.
me back
so,
right now. Did you
yeah,
send him the link to the show?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
got it. I mean, I was just getting killed through these whoops. So once my bike broke, I ended up racing my dad's CR250, and this thing was like, I mean, it was ridiculously fast. I can't remember what all he had and what kind of motor. Scott something motor in it. And so through the race, I just started, instead of just trying to jump through him, I just started hammering him, and that was pretty much the best way to get through it. Just pin it and just hang on, because that was the best thing you do. But no, I mean, it was really fun because everybody made it fair, and or he made it fair to where you're really racing with people that you know
Should
at
be
your
racing
level.
with.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and
cherry picking and all
that's
that stuff.
one thing that I feel like road racing does very well.
No.
Is at a track day, if and it's not racing, of course, but a track day like is the same thing as motocross practice day to me, right? So I feel like they do a great job of, if somebody's just way too fast, they're like, hey, you need to go from beginner to intermediate.
Yeah.
And if somebody's an intermediate that's just a fucking anchor, they're like, hey, you need to go to beginner. Like, there's no
people from
hurt
getting
feeling.
killed. I mean,
exactly.
God,
And here's the difference between road racing and motocross. Nobody's in the fucking air to land on somebody else, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've always wondered why motocross doesn't do a good job of breaking that apart. And really, like, the owner of the track or somebody should be watching on a practice day to be like, that person's a danger.
That reminds me. Do you remember when we went to Pecan Valley? We did the race, and we showed up late, and we had to get out there with the C&D rider practice.
Kinda,
and I about
maybe.
ran everybody over and got killed in every corner because they weren't. I mean, it's just the skill level is just so different that you can't put a fast rider in with slow people because, for one, half of them don't know what they're doing, and they're going to run into you, and it just becomes a big mess. But yeah, I mean, I agree that they really need to do a better job of doing that. So.
All right, so Chase and I are DMing right now. He slid in my DMs, but the unfortunate thing, I was DMing through my personal Facebook, not the Campfire Moto Stories one. So let me change to that and then find him and tell him to send it there because that's on my laptop.
Okay.
So yeah, just bear with me, people. But you can keep talking about that if you want.
What?
All right, let me send you down another path then. How about
Excuse me.
Thanksgiving races at Cycle Ranch where you raced against Josh, who forgot his last name, and Will Hahn?
Okay, so every year Cycle Ranch would host the Thanksgiving. It was the two-stroke national, is what they have at the time. No, the four-stroke national they'd have at that time because everybody was on two strokes. So every year they would have the four-stroke national, and everybody would come down and race. And, we had the two-stroke class, but you could race pretty much whatever. You could jump in the amateur, jump in whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? The old Kawasaki rider. His name was Josh something.
Hill?
Josh
Grant?
Hill.
No, Josh Grant was Cowie.
Not
Josh
Grant.
Grant. Hill wasn't on Cowie's.
Okay,
Well,
so
no, Justin Hill was on Cowie's.
Josh
I don't
Grant.
think Josh was.
No, Josh Grant. So being my home track, I was racing in the I think it was an intermediate. I think it was either intermediate or the expert class. I can't remember which one I jumped into. First practice, we get all our gate pick and everything. They timed it, whatever. And so I got maybe, I don't know, it was like fourth or fifth in the gate pick, and I was on the line, or on the fence line, and I was sitting there, I looked behind me, and I was talking to this guy, and, hey, what's your name? His name, my name's Josh. I didn't know who he was at the time. Nobody knew, but I knew Tommy was there, and his little brother was there, Han.
Yeah, Tommy and Will Hahn.
So
Yeah.
Tommy was racing the four-stroke national, but his little brother was coming up. So I didn't know at the time who they were. Well, I mean, I knew who Tommy was, but I didn't really know what his brother could do or not. But what bike was I racing? I was on, I want to say I was on a 04, maybe a YZ250, maybe an 01. I can't remember, but I don't know. I had that track down really good. So I pull the whole shot on these guys. I take off, and I'm leading probably the first 3 or 4 laps.
Were you basically the meme of Johnny Depp running?
I was on fire here going, Yes, it's gone. Because I mean, I was always. My dad taught me how to jump off the line, and I could always pull the whole shot.
I will say you were good off the start, and there was times you get me on a start, and I'd like, because I have the worst reaction time on a start.
So we'll get back to that one here in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm taking off, and man, we go down the first hill, down hill one, and I hit the right-hander and come back up the hill. And as I do, as I'm jumping, I look back behind me, and I just see Grant and Will Hahn just laid over. I mean, they're railing. I was like, oh, shit, here they come. And I'm just trying. At that time, you know me, I get tired real quick. My arms pumped up because I was in the front and trying to go, and I was holding on too tight. And here they come. They just, after that, they were gone. They passed me. I think third or fourth in that race. But that was the first time. I mean, I didn't, later on, you see Will Hahn and Josh Grant. Like, oh, shit, I
race those guys.
Yeah, cool. Pulled a whole shot up, too. So, yeah. But, yeah, that was a pretty cool deal. I mean, that's when, I can't remember the guy that was on Suzuki's for a while. The brothers, one of the brothers died. Mike, Alessi. Yeah, so Mike Alessi was always there, and he was, at that time, he was fast. He was winning it all. I mean, he made that track. I mean, when you see those guys, the experts ride a track, or the pros, the pros ride the track, it's like effortless.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how you're doing. I'm getting there just banging around and flipping over, my handlebars and stuff or whatever.
You're a bull in the china shop.
Exactly. So
they're a ballet dancer. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But that picture right there was in a race we did. That was my.
It looked like a hair scramble sticker on the front or something.
It does. And you know what? That might have been one of the VPGPs we did at Cycle Ranch. That's definitely at Cycle Ranch. Yeah, that was a neat bike that I had there.
Oh, chasing it. Let's see. No, what is this?
This is it. Yeah.
It's like
Grove. Yeah, he did it. Yeah. He's on a 06 RM250.
Oh God! Hold on a second.
That's the guy right there on the left. That's the guy that owns it.
All right.
Yeah.
I forgot about like copyright bullshit. I got to turn off the music. Okay, just talk about it.
Okay. So of course you go through the right side, and this is where I went through the banners right there. Okay, and you got the doubles. You got another doubles. Goes all the back, and all the trees you see on the right is all Orange Grove. It's right in the middle of it, and it's a little. Take a left here, go over a hump, then you go through the whoops.
This is a sick little track. I know we talked about it, but I didn't ever see any videos of it.
He's hopping through the whoops here, and I just cannot get through them for some reason. They're just not good. So right here, thing on the left, I shoot through the crowd over there, everybody. But little S turn here, right, left. Little table there, hits a hard left, and it comes back around the other side. And it's not a very long, big track. Yeah. Right-hander there. This is coming over the finish line, and you're already back to the front of it. Well, this race here is the week before, or no, the time they went before. They just found this place, so I didn't go to this one. So the second time we came down, because they only hold in the springtime. So the next following spring, I came down and did this race. We camped out in the guy's front yard and got up early in the morning and went and practiced. And he stood up right there by the trees right here and just watched everybody ride. And he would line everybody up and say, okay, get where you think you're, where you can rank yourself. No, he stood out there and he watched everybody. He's right in the middle of it. Yeah, he was. I mean, it just like I said, you can see the track. It's got a little sand. It's got deep sand, but not real deep. But the loam was just absolutely perfect. And the way he had this set up it was just fun. You're racing against people that was. You're racing against people that was, in your class. I mean, the jumps weren't. I mean, everybody could race this track. Yeah. It wasn't something where you can only do this, except till you got here. I mean, you just had to man up and
get to the loops.
It was just the first set that would mess you up. Once you got past those two, you got the rhythm going.
Yeah.
But the first one was like, okay, well, it got in your head, like, okay, I'm not going to try that.
So what was the other turn that you said you shot off of?
So when you go around, he comes back around the other side. I'll show you here. They're in the middle of the track right now. On this bowl. I'm going to take a hard right here and then come around. You hit a table, and then a left.
So I'm sure your wife will maybe watch this and be like, oh, so you can remember all this shit, but you can't remember when I asked you to stop and pick up the
Little
fucking
triple there.
groceries.
Yeah, little triple there, and then this left right here, I shot off to the banners right there. And I took all the banners out. All the banners came with me, wrapped around my bike, and I had to be done after that because the bike wasn't working. It was the wrong oil in the clutch and transmission. So, yeah. But no, that track was just, I mean, it's awesome.
It seems like it.
was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
No, and I honestly, I forgot to write that on here, and then we were talking a second ago. I was like, oh, I remember you telling me about that place. So we're getting into videos and some other cool things. So, one thing I did want to mention before you get too far into this is that my good buddy Scotty, he is brought to you by...
Our next segment is brought to you by Hard Knocks Racing. They're a group of dedicated motorcycle enthusiasts since 1998. They're your go-to for Campfire Moto official gear. Soon launch an apparel line of their own. They excel in crafting all kinds of custom decals, like this badass sign behind me, from custom signs to bus wraps and office customization. In fact, check out this work Anthony did at one of the well-known Japanese manufacturer's office who will remain nameless. They also crafted awards for prestigious events such as the Perry Mountain 24-hour race, Mill Creek Spring Classic, Deka Hair Scramble Series, and many more for local racetracks in the Southeast. Check out hardknocksracing.com or give Anthony D'Amico a call at 404-717-480.
I can't remember. I don't think you've ever met my buddy Joe or Anthony. Had you?
Probably not.
So he's not really part of the sponsor. He kind of helps his buddy every now and then. We call him the CFO, but D'Amico's the one that always does the stuff. Joe will kind of help him put stuff together or whatever, but super good dudes, like as far as car wraps or awards or any of that stuff. So if you got people in Texas that are doing awards, even, this is something else I wanted to touch on. What was really funny is you were listening to Opie's show.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Grant Matsushima.
Yeah.
And it turns out you're buddies with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that comes, I mean...
Because you're doing the RC car racing and stuff like that now. With age comes a cage, and it's one that you can fit in.
That's pretty much, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. That comes to my, pretty much my MX retirement. They're doing that now because I don't own a bike anymore. There's not one bike in my garage right now.
All right. Hey, thanks for watching the show, guys. It's been great. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Get the fuck out.
I got Stasics. My kids.
Okay. All right, I'll allow that. If your kids are riding a Stasic, I'll allow that.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
All right, that's fine. No, it's funny because you listened to it and you were like, dude, you guys are talking about Grant. He's a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And then I randomly found the toolbox that I have has the Matsushima sticker on it. And I remembered Huey telling me that he gave me that, and he was like, I'm throwing this away if anybody wants it. And I was like, oh, I'll take it. Yeah. This is back in 2010 when I was working at Marmo. And he's like, that's like a very famous toolbox. The guy that owned it is a genius. Yeah. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I just happened to see that sticker, and I text you a picture of that sticker, and you sent me back a selfie with Grant. And I was like, what the fuck? That's awesome.
Yeah. That was ironic to run into that guy there. I mean, I've never really knew who he was until I got there, but just talking about motorcycles and stuff,
And is he one of those, because you always are a little skeptical when people tell you what they've done, right? He tell you these things and you're kind of like, whatever. And then you maybe Google them. I kind of
believed him, but just because the people he was bringing up.
Okay.
Because I asked him if he knew Opie, and he goes, yeah, I know Opie. I mean, and he asked me if I knew...
probably Huey. Yeah.
I said, no fucking way. I said, no. He goes, I worked in the back.
If he's saying the name to you, dude, you're not...
He said it to me. I was like, oh, okay, this guy knows. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So it was really cool because... I mean, it's just, it's weird how, people do one thing and go into another that's done that their whole life.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing it for certain reasons. I just got out of it just because, I mean, For one, I mean, the tracks are coming down in Texas, and they're really, I mean, you have to really go north.
Damn, even really in Texas?
And north, well, just South Texas. You get up north, it's okay, but in South Texas, the tracks are, I mean, you have maybe one or two. Cycle range is still there, but it's not what it was. I mean, it's not even close to what it used to be.
I mean, nothing is.
No,
I
it's
think
not.
about the
It's just-
Bremen heydays, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody wishes that we could somehow bring back Bremen Thursday nights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, exactly. So it wasn't like that anymore. And then there was one that we went to all the time. But the problem is, you know, I don't know if I want to, you know. So when you get into this, and you know, you get your kids into it, and then you know people that have kids that, okay, well, his daughter just died, got killed on a bike at a track. And I
Oh,
was like, okay, we'll take a step back for a second. And then the next weekend, another bike crashes, and now he's in the hospital, and his girl's in the hospital again. Another girl with a femur hanging out. I said, you know what? We're done.
Huh.
This is the track we always go to, and I know why.
watch! You almost took out your beer.
I know. I know. So I know why people are getting hurt at this track. I mean, it's just,
But they're not doing something to change it.
they're not doing anything to change it. So I mean, it's a really, really fast-paced track, and it's kind of tight, but it's, I mean, it's an awesome track. But they really need to separate people. It comes to the things to where, you know, you have
Kind
an
of like what I was
expert
talking about with the road racing
beginners
thing.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. You just, it's all mixed in there. And, you know, I mean, I don't want to place blame on anybody or anything, but, you know, from what I heard, the girl had the wrong helmet on. She had like a plastic helmet on, and she hit a tree,
Mm.
and brain damage done. So, I mean, it's just, you know, if you're going to do this sport, you got to have the right equipment, especially
Yeah.
on this caliber of a track. Especially if you're in a race. I mean, it's your kid. Don't be dumb with them. Get the right equipment on them.
Yeah,
You
but
have
it's
to.
I'd honestly go with like
Yeah.
you don't know unless you know.
Exactly.
Like, you
I
just-
mean, if
it's a
I
helmet,
saw
so it should
her,
be-
like, whoa, wait, like, if anybody saw them, maybe they didn't, but if they did, like, at least say something. Or here, I've got a helmet she can use, you know, for the
Yeah.
race. But
And I will say,
don't send them out
in the
there with a
moto
plastic helmet.
community, they're gonna. Well, honestly, the polypropylene, right? Not
Yeah,
plastic.
right.
They're okay-ish, but I don't know if.
Tree's gonna win, no matter what.
All right, that tree you talked about, we hit with Kent. Were you in a polypropylene
Well,
helmet?
No, I was in a DOT, whatever the high standard.
Well,
helmet.
Snell.
No, yeah.
Well, Snell
No.
is still
I don't know what it's made out of. Why are you using big words?
plastic or
Motocross racer, you don't use big words. Come on.
plastic helmets still pass Snell standards.
Yeah. No, but it wasn't plastic by any means.
Was even something worse. Okay.
It could have been. Yeah.
All right, so let's get back. We went off on a little tangent there. I love it though. Lake Whitney Spring Nationals.
Yeah, that's going back a little bit in, golly, 96, 97, and 98. We'd always go to Lake Whitney to Spring Nationals, and that was, at that time, I mean, there was, Carmichael was there, all the big names were there for these nationals that we went to. But I wanted, you know, the first time I did it, I was racing novice in the 125 class, and there were 75 riders in my class.
Oh.
75 riders in this class. So we had to do, I mean, it was, you know, it's Texas, it's a spring national, and even in spring that time, it was 100 degrees outside, over.
Well, yeah.
And, you know, a couple of my buddies.
It's funny when my wife was like, "Oh, what's life in Texas?" and you're like, "It's fucking hot.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
hot.
fall."
That's it. Yeah, exactly. It's hot. It's always hot. We don't have winters. You have a winter, it's like one day of it. One day of a winter.
I will say that I do like that about Georgia. You have a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
summer, you have a little bit of winter,
Yeah.
but for the most part, not too bad.
No, it's just hot there. But anyways, I mean, that's something we did every year with my dad, and Chase was just growing up, and he really didn't get into it that much, but, or he would, I think he did like one race there, but yeah, but that one race we did, it was 75 riders in my class. I did 3 races that day. You had to qualify just to get into second moto.
Yep. Concies.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we had to do
I've
that.
had a few
So-
of the Concy races. There's 80 people at a Bremen fucking area qualifier. You're
It
like,
was-
wait a second, what?
So I qualified for the second race. I got like 4th or 5th. And then the main race came up, or the second moto came up, and I think I finished 4th. Out of that, you know, out of all those riders. I mean, that was just coming up on my KTM 125 I had. And, you know, that was think Howardson in there at that time. I mean, it was. If y'all have ever heard or even seen Whitney, Whitney was like the place to go. Besides, before Cycle Ranch came up, that's where they had all that. I mean, as a little kid, standing on the sidelines as a kid watching my dad race when Ward and all those guys were there, and they were just. I mean, that was the place to go. But now it's all shut down. It's a hunting lease
Whitney's
now.
not done a race for a
it's
while.
done.
Because there was the other. What's the other track that they actually did nationals at?
No, that Freestone.
Freestone. Yeah.
That's where all those pictures are from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all Freestone. Yeah.
Huh.
So, and you're like, what are all these pictures? Yeah, that's all Freestone. I got trigger happy on my camera.
Especially with Deanna.
No, yeah. Well, that was a Supercross. That was.
I'm just talking about the trigger happy with the camera.
Oh well.
All right, so we're winding down to some of the things I've written down, you've written down. Don't look at your watch. How long have we been into this now?
40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
First you said an hour. And
Well,
then you say 40.
after the other 40 minutes. We're hour and 40 minutes.
God damn, your track of time is really good. 44 minutes.
There we go.
You looked at your watch again.
Yeah, we
Damn,
got it
that's-
at 8:35.
Motherfucker. Yeah, you did. I told you.
8:35.
But I appreciate your honesty. So, I have a few of my other segments that I'll do. I'll play videos. I've actually got a bunch of videos people sent me that I got permission to share them. This is what I want to get the show to eventually. Like almost like a don't want to almost say the name, but do kind of say it like a Taj.0 or what is it, the Rob Dyrdek one where they'd play videos.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like play that, have a group of people, we get the bullshit, we share a few stories, we watch the videos, we talk about the videos kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
that'd be pretty cool.
so I've got a bunch of them that sent to me. So one thing you randomly sent me was Arena Cross. Literally, that's all you sent me. I was like, what? Yeah.
Was
you-
the one? Oh, that one.
The one in
here?
Rome?
In Rome? Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. You just literally, the text said Arena Cross. And I'm like, okay.
We got to show that embarrassment too.
I don't remember what was embarrassing for you.
Crash at the end.
Do tell. I don't remember that
You
one.
don't remember?
No.
You said you had the video. Are you going to show it?
I don't have the video.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to send a video. Oh,
No, I have a video of an Arena Cross crash that I'm going to show.
Oh, okay.
And it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. You don't remember the Rome one I have?
No, I remember the Rome
shot
race, but I don't remember the crash.
Went around the whole time. It was almost at the end, and I could hear you in the back, and Cheney's screaming, "Yeah, go, go!" And all of a sudden, I hear you. Scotty's getting tired.
Really?
So I
I don't
started pacing
remember
off
this.
a little bit, and then this one guy, I guess he got a crappy start or whatever. He came through the pack, and he came right up on me on the finish line, and I cross-rutted on the face and went sideways like this, and almost landed right where all the starting line was, and just wiped out big time. Broke the visor off.
A
and
little
everything,
bit remember that, but I don't remember
got
that.
back on and went. I think I got 5th place on that one. But yeah, I had the win, and here my old good buddies behind me. Oh, look, he's getting tired. Thanks for the support.
I'm sure that's what I said or what
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought.
I've got it on video.
All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to get this one pulled up, but you did better than what happened to this guy.
All right.
And this thing has kind of gone viral since I got the guy's permission to share this. So, uh-oh. Wait, hold on. Hold on. We're not there yet.
Should have sent you my Arma videos. Got a helmet.
How come is... Oh, because I sent it as a link. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to move this over to here. We're going to open this up. Have you seen this video yet?
I don't think so.
What the fuck is going on? What the hell? What did I do? All right.
Operator error.
So this is pretty fucking crazy. And the funny thing, and I didn't get permission from the other dude, this guy here in the corner, he has another angle of this.
No.
All right, here we go, people.
Oh, I was gonna say this. So that reminds me of the Rome race. When we were all standing there at the finish line, checking in, and we hear this. boom!
All
And
right,
the guy goes
so-
off and hits the wall, just like that.
All right, so I actually made a little side note about that. I think that was Andrew Hames
Oh my
that
gosh.
did that. Yeah, they had the bleachers that folded
Yeah.
in, right? And it made the left. And we just literally heard, and then, pool.
Yep. Oh my god.
Oh,
He
I actually-
cartooned that wall.
Dude, I'm going to text Andrew
Oh my gosh.
because I want to confirm if that was him or not.
Oh yeah, that was.
I haven't texted him in
was
so long.
scary.
I
That hurt.
had to start a new text. All right, so I'm texting Andrew right now. See what he responds later. Hey, did you run into the wall at the Rome Arena Cross race
Deny.
back in the day? All right, let's see what he responds. He's probably like, why the fuck is he texting me at 9 o'clock
Yeah.
on a random Wednesday about this?
So funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I have a few of those
Yeah.
matches on video.
But dude, I remember like I'll kind of just I try to find some of these videos just like scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and I'm just like as soon as he was in the air and let go, I was like, oh, that was a bad decision. But honestly, looking at it again, right?
yeah,
It might have worked out better because the bike
Oh,
slammed
yeah,
right
he
into
would've
the
been-
wall and he went right.
that would have hurt.
next
I think
to
it got worse. Worse
Yeah,
if he
I
stayed
think-
on. Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
one of the.
Yeah, he's screaming. I mean, he pinned it. Let's go.
Let's see if we can pause this at the right time. All right, so we got that right, and this is millisecond decision
That looks
making,
like a
right?
concrete wall he hits too.
Yeah. So right about here, he says, "This shit's gonna hurt. Bail off."
I'm off. Yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
right there.
But did he land on the bike?
I think he landed just to the
He's got his right hand on the left side of the bike there.
He might. I think he landed to the left of the bike.
Oh.
He did.
Oh, he did, yeah. But he still hit the wall.
Wait, he
Oh my
hit the
gosh.
wall for sure.
Oh,
Ooh. Oh, and he's
He's
doing the
screaming, dude.
grunt, right? The
like he knocked the wind out of him.
Fuck.
He got the wind knocked out of him. Oh,
Andrew just texts back, I wish I didn't pick up my phone.
that's great.
I think I still have the link copied. I'm gonna send him the show link and be like, we're talking shit about you.
That's hilarious.
Damn it. I don't know how to work my phone. I'm a boomer. There we go. Share, copy. Sending to him right now. I'm saying we're talking shit about you live. You said I totally did. Broke my toes that same night.
Oh. Oh my gosh. He still raced after hitting the wall?
I guess.
broke his
I don't
toes?
know. Fuck,
That's
we're,
a bad night.
we're dumb, okay?
That's a bad
We're
night.
dumb
That's a
motocrossers.
bad
Of course
night.
that shit happened.
That's a bad night.
I actually got to hang out with Andrew at the 22 motocross nations at Redbud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun because he was always that guy for me where we progressed the same.
Right.
And we'd always find each other. No matter what happened,
Yeah.
we'd find each other on the track.
On the track, yeah.
Yeah,
always.
whether I
Yeah.
got a good start, he got a shit start, I got a bad start, he got a good, like we'd
Somewhere
find
you
each
gotta meet
other.
to find each other. On the
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
Like he was that guy for me. But it was always clean racing and fun, so
Yeah.
there was no ill blood there. Why don't we play some other videos? Because there were some other good videos that I got sent to me. All right. That just sounds dirty. I don't want that. All right. So I got 2 videos sent to me from my buddy Matt Cobb. One of them was from Calhoun, like years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like his kids were young. He still lived here in Georgia. He now lives in Florida. And his kids actually, so the Charlotte 65 race,
Mhm.
his kid got 6th place
Yeah.
on the 65s.
Oh,
So
wow.
his kids progressed
Yeah.
really good. He's actually a badass racer now. He lives Dunedin, Florida, which is kind of like
Okay.
St. Pete, Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs-ish area.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but the joke about Florida area of Dunedin Do you know what it is?
Mm.
The joke was always that's where lesbians go to retire.
Because they're done eating.
Done eating. Yeah.
I got that.
So back when he lived here in Florida, his dumbass decided to talk shit to his kid and get on his bicycle after a race at Calhoun. And I'm 90% sure this was the day that he stopped drinking. So let's watch this video. Oh, wait. I need sound for this one. There's no... There we go.
All right. Get the whoop section. Okay.
You can tell he's drunk by the way he's talking, too.
Yeah.
I get this one. All right, wait. Go back. I want to see this one. What happened to that one? That little guy.
Adult can't even clear.
That little guy?
Yeah, an adult can't barely clear.
Shit. I could probably clear that.
Let's see. Tell Dad, do it. Do it.
That's it right there.
Like that beer in hand. He's stumbling, walking down the hill.
He didn't even say hold my beer. He's
No,
going with it.
You're talking some smack. You gotta do it now.
And his wife's egging him on, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is getting bad.
He's like, oh, I don't know about that.
Now, here.
What's worse that doesn't happen. All
You're
right,
about
here
to
we
find
go.
out. Oh, he's getting a run.
The confidence. I give him applause.
You're not fast enough. Oh, he's out. Is he out?
Mass, like the. I'm at like a mass parade. Oh my god, that's not gonna heal by Monday.
Look at the lip.
No, it's not.
That's good lip. That's now?
That brace everything. You're done. You can't listen to your kid. You can't
Don't talk shit, bro. Don't talk shit. Simple as that.
He should have maybe done the hold my beer skit.
Yeah.
First.
No, I think how it worked out played
That was
perfectly.
great.
Damn it, why do I keep getting the wrong one? All right. So we'll close this one down. Let's find the next video that was sent in. Okay, so this next one is from Minios like 2 days ago, right?
Wow, okay.
So his kid's racing Minios, doing really good. So this incident happened, and apparently the dad came over yelling at him that his kid rides dirty. So keep in mind, his kid's on the red bike. He's on a gas. The other kid's on a KTM. I think
Okay.
they're on 65s or 85s for this race. All right. All right, so he's taking the outside, his kid. The other kid's on the inside.
Back up.
No. Is there a way to zoom in on this again? No. All right, watch it again. On the outside. The other kid goes to the inside. The kid gets squirrely.
Flopped. Yeah, he got
The other
he
kid
crossed right at the front. Yeah,
crossed or
Yeah.
flopped, right, and went into him.
yeah, he crossed right at the face of it.
And not only that,
He pulled a Tad Reed on the front, on the face. of it.
yeah,
Right there. Yeah.
he didn't touch
It
him at
didn't
all.
look like it did at all.
No. So the whole time, and Eli's his oldest, Nolan. So that's Nolan Cobb, right? So Nolan's not squirrely. He's not sketchy. He's not
No.
moving at all.
He kept his
just
line.
stays
Yeah,
straight,
right.
even after the kid
Comes
taps
into him. Yeah.
And apparently the kid's dad wanted to come fight him.
Oh
because
my
of that.
gosh, no.
Which honestly, you'd be that dad?
Oh, not at all. Would I go?
Scotty.
No, not on the track.
No, honestly, I'm
Not on
fucking
the
with
track.
you. I'm, no, but that's what
Maybe
I'm
in a
saying.
parking lot, not on the track.
No, he came up to him after the race, like
Yeah.
in the pits, and then was wanting to like
Really?
talk shit to his.
I mean,
yeah.
if it really depends on if it was on purpose for me to do something. But you stop
Nolan
in the front,
didn't move
no,
at
you're
all.
good.
He
No,
took the outside.
yeah.
He didn't budge at all. You know what I
That's
mean?
racing right there. That's
Yeah.
nothing you can do.
No, and,
Yeah.
and honestly, I kind of wonder if the kid is like, I fucked up, but my dad's making a big deal about this, so I'm
Yeah.
just gonna let it be.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I don't know. But all right, so we're getting well into some viewer videos. Do I have any other? No. Okay. Not for that. All right, let's zoom out of this. Close that one down. There was a few other videos I wanted to show too. Oh, this is really good. So, the final bikes of the year for this calendar, right?
Oh my gosh.
This is Eli and Blair's Harold's. There's basically two. Well, actually, he's got 3 sons, but I think the youngest wasn't there. So there's Caleb, Eli. I don't remember the youngest's name, and then the dad is Blair Harold.
Yeah.
Good dudes. Like, they ride a lot in the moto community. They roll pretty good. So one of Caleb's buddies took a video of him riding at Big Springs when we were riding Sunday. I don't remember the dude's first name, but his last name was Sheets. He sent me this video, and it just goes along well with the fact that Caleb helped me. He took the pictures of me getting his dad and his brother's bikes, right?
Yeah.
This is what happened to him on the track that day. Oh, why does it mute every damn time? Turn off the mute. All right. Back up a little bit. So he sent me the video, and I actually made this video from the video to like pause and slow-mo and see some of the things.
That's awesome. He's even looking. He's like, "What is this?" Dude, that's great. That was great.
Yeah, he's like, man, you're gonna love this video, and he showed me. I was like, dude, fucking sit down, Timmy.
Double
I'll
move.
play that shit on the show.
That was great. I was like, "What are we looking at?" I'm like, oh, okay, I see it now.
All right, so this
That's
one
something
goes
we do.
along with one of the other things that we'll talk about kind of towards the end. So let's get into a few of our other segments. Unless there's other crashes or stories that you want to share with me right now, buddy.
Well,
We got a few others that we'll touch on. So
okay. Well, I don't know what you're touching on, so I don't want to.
well, I'd say it, and I'll be like,
Arma?
yeah. Huh?
Arma?
No, no, that's not one. Hit on.
Okay. So I don't know if my dad's listening to this or not, if he's on or not. Chase might be. So my dad started getting into armor racing at Rio Bravo in Texas, and this was a while back in 2014. Went. So he ended up building this 1981 or 82 RM250, and I mean it was just mint. So we went to go race this at this armor race. But the greatest thing about my dad and I is that we have the same name. Okay.
Yeah, one's
Keep that
a
in mind.
junior, one's a senior, right?
So, yeah, if you want to put it that way. So I'm the second, and Scott Senior, whatever. But anyways, so instead of me signing up for all this ARMA stuff and everything, I just use his name. So he signed up in like the over 50 class, and then he signed up for this intermediate expert class, and the one I'm racing in, because I've never raced this before. So I guess they put you in an intermediate class to kind of see where you're at, and so he has the first race, and I don't remember what place he got in, whatever. He was in like the top 5. And then it goes around, and I'm in this next race, but everybody thinks it's him. So, we wear same helmet, not the same gear, but the same helmet. And so I take off. There's videos of this. So I take off on this bike. The first time I ever raced Rio Bravo. And everybody takes the inside, and I go wide. So when I go wide, I'm already set up for the inside on the next corner, and I just chuck in, and I'm in first all of a sudden. So I take off, and so before that, they let the experts go in front of us, and I was an intermediate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're allowed to do that when you don't know where you're at in the race. So they let all the experts go.
And vintage racing in novice for moto would kind of be expert level in a lot of areas.
Yes.
And honestly, I'll say with
There's
the
some
barber
fast
race
guys
that
out
I
there, too.
did,
Yeah.
there was a dude. He was on an 80s YZ 125,
Yeah.
and I was on a 24 YZ 125, and I was like, "Fuck, this guy is moving."
Yeah.
But I just got off 2 motos earlier, and
Yeah.
I was like dead.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
it was
yeah.
I'm saying these races are probably the most fun racing that I've ever done in my life. Because everybody is on an old bike. It's really
What?
about the riding.
Even the Bremen races?
Well, no, that's
That
fun.
we-
Well, see, I mean, you know what I mean.
You
That's-
just said that was the
the
best.
racing, not with the people. The racing.
Go on. Tell the story.
Anyways, the experts take off. We take off, and I'm gone. No, if my dad. So I get all the way before the race is over. I catch up to the last guy in the expert class. So my dad gets off. He goes, "Dude, you never heard this say?" He goes, "Yeah, I did okay in the over 50 class, but in this expert class, he lapped everybody out there." I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute." So they don't know what I know it's me. So I never take my helmet off until we get back in the pits. So that's the best thing that, racing those classes was, using the same name, but it was, I mean, that bike, I mean, it felt like the 250, it felt like a 125 I was racing.
Yeah.
I mean, no power valves in it at all. It was just
Like a soul
ring
machine
it and go.
too.
Yeah, just pin it and just go as fast as you can go. But it was a lot of fun because it was, and I probably should have been in a different class, but they let me race that class, so I did. And but it was funny the comments they were making over the line about my dad, and didn't even know it was me. So we did that a lot over the years. My dad and I always did that to save money. I mean, we'd rate in 2 classes, and
Well, I think
we'd be who
it's
knew,
pretty
and-
fucking stupid, all
yeah.
the bullshit membership fees
Oh,
and all
I
kinds
know.
of things that
Yeah.
you had to do. I had to jump
Yeah.
through hoops to get into ARMA
Yeah.
to do the barber race.
And this was the last race of the year.
Yeah.
So it was a November race. It was last race of the year. So why am I going to spend $100 to join ARMA
Yep.
for the last race? So I just went under his name. I hope no guys in ARMA is listening to this. But yeah, I mean, I tried to do that every year. I even had an 82 ARM 250 that he gave me that I was going to rebuild, and ended up selling that one too. You guys came down last month and bought it. We got that one going.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was going to keep racing the ARMA classes, but this is. That's what I noticed. I saw your trophy over there, the ARMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Yeah.
the first and only ARMA race I've ever done.
Yeah.
And they actually, something happened. I got a first in one of the classes, and Terry, I wasn't going to wait. They always do like the award ceremonies at the end, which I get, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I got a fucking 5-year-old with me, a wife, they want to
let's
get
go.
home.
Yeah, ready to leave.
So Terry was supposed to get me the first place one, and he's like, yeah, something happened. I was like, okay, whatever. So, but it was a lot of fun, and I don't know if you're still part of them or have a bike for it, but it's what weekend was that? Beginning of October, the Vintage Festival days at Barber.
Okay.
They're going to do it next year.
Yeah.
The old people that own Mill Creek built a new track there. The
Oh,
track
nice.
is a lot of fun.
Is it?
It is
Yeah.
really, really good. I
Yeah.
think you will actually fucking love it.
Yeah.
So if you do want to come back for that next year, let me know.
We have
We'll
to
meet
do
there.
that. Yeah,
I'll bring
that'd be
the RV.
Yeah.
Bring the kids.
Yeah, we'd have to do
I mean,
something. That'd be fun. I like the ARMA. The ARMA racing is a lot of fun. The people and everybody around it. I mean, it's just.
I'm trying to remember the guy's
Awesome
name.
time,
I was emailing about it. He and I talked on the phone because I was real confused about certain things, and I got to fix the 500 to get it back into the studio. I got to replace the water pump bearing and seals. They
Yeah.
took a shit on me.
Oh,
So
I was gonna say, wasn't there a bike sitting here?
yeah, it was. But yeah, I got to get that thing back up here. So let's play a tech tip, and then we're gonna play the video you and I made earlier.
Okay, great.
Get a little
that's gonna be
break.
Awesome, yeah.
Then we'll listen to a few voicemails of things we got in. We'll get into the stolen bike thing, and then we'll start to
I
wrap up
forgot
the
about
show.
that.
Yeah. That's I've got a voicemail that goes along real well with that. So, all right. So here, I actually was doing some graphics the other day, and anytime I'm working on a bike, and I'll kind of do a little trick that I've learned over the years, I'm like, oh, I should make a video on this.
Yeah.
So I did a little one on this. So, but I know you're pretty mechanically inclined too. So if you've got a good tech tip you can think of between now and then or the video, let me know. We'll tell the viewers about it.
All right.
So, all right, here's the tech tip for this week's show.
Now it's time for some awesome tech tips.
Transform your comfort with Innovative Mechanical LLC, specializing in HVAC service for residential and commercial properties. They provide expert installation, maintenance, and repair. Their certified technicians ensure top-notch service, whether it's air conditioning, heating systems, or indoor air quality solutions. Serving Georgia since 1999, they prioritize customer satisfaction with prompt, reliable service at competitive rates. Routine maintenance to emergency repairs. Trust Innovative Mechanical LLC for all your HVAC needs. Give them a call at 770-726-7407 or visit innovativemechanical.llc.com to schedule service and experience unparalleled comfort today.
Got a tech tip for you. So, putting some pit bike graphics on my buddy's bike. And there's a bunch of these little nicks that get in them. Instead of using this kind of sandpaper, do it. You can get this at a lot of auto parts store. It's actually like a headlight cleaning kit. Come with different sandpapering paper things, little attachment. Just a little nut. Put on the end there like that. Most any drill. You can buff out all those little nicks that are on the old plastic. Put new graphics on. There's tech tip for you. All right, people. The moment has come for the video that Scotty and I made today. I'm fairly confident this video is going to go viral. So you gotta duck. Ah, son of a bitch! You ruined my headshot. So he said I'm short. I didn't think I needed a duck. So enjoy this. I think you're gonna love it. This is basically it's a dubbed over video of Hitler from a movie called Dead Silence or whatever. But the joke with this is basically Hitler is Roger DeCoster finding out that KTM has gone bankrupt. So enjoy, because it's so good.
Gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt.
Hold on, people. That's the original video before I dubbed all this stuff. I forgot that was in one spot. All right, here it is.
Gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen.
Wait, what?
Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt.
What happened? No.
You didn't say it.
Oh no.
You didn't
Dude,
say
what?
it.
What happened? Did the sub, dude, if we did all that work and the subtitles did not save, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
I'm going to go on a whim and say this is not going viral.
This one is not. And honestly, I figured because we crammed putting this thing together,
Yeah, I
right?
know. Yeah.
So I figured I'm going to have mistakes. There's going to be whatever things involved in it.
No, they're not in there at all.
All right, let me close some of this stuff down, because what if it's the wrong... What the hell is this? Yeah, I don't need that. We'll close that down. Okay. What? This should be the one with the subtitles.
Gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen.
No, it doesn't have
Im Süden hat der
them.
Gegner Zossen.
Okay, let's see if it's in the DaVinci Resolve,
Bummer.
because... Dude. How did
I
that...
saw you put in a file.
Dude, the whole thing was rendered. No, it's in here. All right. I wonder if there's a way. Is there a way to preview this? All right. It's got to be a little bit smaller, people. Okay. I wonder if I can zoom in on this a little bit more too. That's pretty good. All right.
That'll work.
Let's go. How do we go back to the beginning now? All right, this should be the beginning. That looks good enough. Hey. Here is the video we made. Enjoy.
gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf-Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners, dass alles in Ordnung kommt.
Mein Führer, Steiner konnte nicht genügend.
Krebs. Burgdorf.
Ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiner Befehl! Wer sind Sie, dass Sie es wagen, Sie meinen Befehl zu widersetzen? Ist das also Zentrum? Das Militär hat sich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie
Nicht als Feiglinge! Verräter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmeiß des deutschen Volkes! Sie ist ohne Ehre! Jahrelang hat das Militär meine Aktionen nur verhindert! Es hat mir jeden nur erschrecklichen Widerstand in den Weg gelegt! Ich hätte gut daran getan! Und dann alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin!
Ich war nie auf einer Akademie.
Doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt, Europa erobert. Verräter! Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden. Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen. Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen. Sie werden saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte gerne. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
Welle sind in den Wind gesprochen. Es ist unmöglich, unter diesen Umständen zu führen. Es ist aus. Der Krieg ist verloren. Aber wenn Sie, meine Herren, glauben, dass wenn ich Berlin verlasse, irren Sie sich gewaltig. Eher jag ich mir eine Kugel durch den Kopf. Tun Sie, was Sie wollen.
That's great.
I'm so pissed that it didn't like just play because we rendered the fucking video. I don't know what
we
happened.
didn't take the
That's the
subtitles.
first time ever doing like a subtitle video for me. And honestly, I'm gonna toot my own horn. I came up with this idea randomly at 10 a.m. today.
Really?
And on my lunch break, I spent a full hour trying to make it, and then you and I spent 40 minutes,
At
30.
least.
No,
Yeah.
not even. It was 6:30 we started on it, and
Just
it
a little
went
bit
till
before that, yeah.
6.
He said we had like 10 minutes and we ran.
Yeah, we ran into this thing.
Yeah.
So, and then we ended up being like 10 minutes late because it takes me about 10 minutes to get all this shit set up before the show.
Oh.
But dude, that shit's gonna be fucking
good.
funny. That's gonna spread, and it's gonna be really good.
That's great.
Oh God! All right, what's some of the other things we did? So I actually had a few really good voicemails from the last show, and I didn't get to play them. I didn't honestly hear them until today at some point when I was working at home and I'm checking some stuff and other things. Something just caught my eye, but I'm going to go back to that after we play all our segments and stuff right before we close out the show. So, all right, so we're going to listen to some voicemails. We're going to try to be quiet through them and we'll let them show the thing, and we're just going to talk about the stories after we heard them.
All right.
So
These stories are brought to you by On-Road Riders. Get on the road safely with On-Road Riders. They offer Georgia-certified training through the Motorcycle Safety Foundation Basic Rider Course on both 2-wheels and 3-wheel motorcycles, enabling you to obtain your motorcycle license hassle-free. Their mission is to instill essential skills for safe motorcycle operation and save lives. You'll learn from certified coaches covering everything from clutch friction zone techniques to obstacle avoidance. They currently have 2 convenient locations, Mountain Motorsports in Conyers and Georgia's Best Fireworks in Milledgeville. At just 16 years old, with parental consent, you can enroll and upon a successful completion, receive a waiver for your Georgia DDS motorcycle license. Visit onroadriders.com to start riding safely today.
All right, so I don't know exactly all of these things. I want to look at. No, that one is like I have a question. All right, so I know you're behind in the shows. You listen to them like kind of when you can.
Mm-hmm.
So Rick Lindell, that was on the show last time, dude, just had people calling in, and like some of them went to voicemail, and I was like, this is really cool. Like I got to listen to them today. So we'll kind of play them out. All right, let's listen to some of these voicemails.
Yes, Robbie Neely, South Carolina. Just want to tell Rick Lindell he's a good, outstanding young man. Enjoyed being around him and racing with him for many years. Enjoyed him.
All right, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't really listened to any of these. So I had said at the beginning of my other show that Rick Lindell is one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet. Do you remember Rick and Jaron, the sons? They were all at Bremen all the time with us. They were 723 on Yamahas, white Yamahas. Is the time frame you remember?
I'd have to see and remember.
Jaron would have been about our speed. Rick, he just like a click off, but he's old as shit at that time. Which, say old as shit, he was 45 at the time. Which, you're how old?
45.
I just realized that the camera's on fucking that still. The whiskey has kicked in, people. Yep.
One.
Scotty's making a lightweight joke at me right now, and I'm offended. No, but so Rick's the opposite of you. I don't think he's ever pissed off anybody in his life.
Yeah.
I think he's been the nicest guy ever.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So this one. All right. Let's listen to this one. So David Sully. Wasn't he on Monsters Inc?
Sully was.
What was the first
Sully
name?
was the big guy.
Yeah, I know Sully was a big guy. What was his first name? Or was it just Sully?
I think it was just Sully.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, this is David Sally. I was calling to tell a little story about racing against Rick at a Pro-Am qualifier in Montrose on 500s in 1984. We both escaped a crash that happened right in front of us, and we emerged out the other side of it banging handlebars. For an entire lap, I was racing over my head. Rick was pretty cool, but I ended up throwing it away and crashing and got banged up pretty bad. And we still ended up qualifying for the Pro-Am at Loretta's in 84. So enjoyed your show. Been good seeing some of the pictures and hearing the stories. Say hello from Tennessee.
I have them all.
Good night.
Well, Samsonite, I was way off. Not Sully. Sally. Look, words blur together when you have this much whiskey. This is your fault. You said whiskey's always a good choice for me.
You threw the beer in. I was down for the whiskey.
But I put the beer in because you said have a dad gut, and you said that you need to preserve it. So you wanted the Michelob Ultras.
Yeah.
No, but David, that's really good. That's what I want the show to be like. Send in stories because he talked about barely escaping a crash, right? Dude, how many times have you had one of those experiences, right?
Too many. Way too
Can
many.
you think of one in particular or not really?
The saving one?
Well, just barely missing one.
Right off the top of my head, but I've had a lot. A lot. There's a lot of them I don't remember due to the impact.
Yeah, I don't have one either right now.
I mean, I just told you all the ones I had over at the Grove.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's saving.
No, that wasn't barely missing a crash. That was in a crash.
That was barely missing people. I almost ran a crowd over.
So their life flashed before their eyes.
They did, yes.
All right. So this next one, this is the final voicemail that I have for this show.
I can't think of one now.
Tell it.
The one that was so I was racing intermediate at Village Creek, Texas, and the same thing. I go out for practice. It's really deep, and there's just a double there, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna chuck it. But I was on my KTM 250. I got enough power. I'm gonna get over it. No, didn't happen. So I could jump, and I cased this double. It's a really big double. I cased it so hard that I really, at that moment, thought I broke my back. I was done.
Oof.
So when I hit, I just laid on top of my bike and just let it go where it was going to go because I couldn't move. I was stunned. And just rolled off the bike and laid there.
Like the electrical shock.
Yeah, I was just done.
Yeah,
so I laid there and just stared at, I stared at the sky for what felt like a lifetime till the ambulance came. And they picked me up and got me on a stretcher, took me over to the ambulance, whatever, and checked me out and see if I can move my toes and stuff. I can move and everything. And they set me up and, I had all feeling and everything. So coming down to it, I didn't break my back. I ended up tearing all my muscles in my back.
Oof.
So I was out for a good, they said 2 to 6 months, but I was back in like
3 weeks.
Just because I had a really good chiropractor or deep tissue chiropractor because I was doing, not to sound a little weird, but I used to teach gymnastics, power tumbling, and the guy that was there was
Wait, what? Hold on. Hold on. Back up. Back up. Not to sound a little weird, but I used to elaborate on that.
So I did a lot of stuff in my lifetime. A lot. Racing, baseball, soccer. I mean, I've done it all. But I used to teach gymnastics. I used to teach power tumbling.
I'm not judging. I'm not.
I taught it.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying, was that to pick up chicks?
It happened. It happened. It happened.
That's what I wanted to stop the program to be like, all right, let's back up a little bit here. Is that why you did this? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right, continue on.
But anyways, with that, I mean, this guy was amazing. He got me. I mean, he did this massage on my back that got me back literally in 2 weeks instead of 2 months. But yeah, that was one of besides the Psycho Ranch, because I don't remember that one. That one I remember, and that was probably the roughest crash I've ever had. So yeah.
All right. That wasn't dealing with a near crash.
That was a crash.
Yeah, that was a crash. Which is still a good story.
No, I don't nearly crash.
I was asking for a crash where like shit almost went wrong, and you were like, "Oh, boy, did that one."
No, I crash when it's near. I just do it anyways.
I mean, yeah, you don't half-ass shit. You full-ass shit, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So shit's going wrong.
I'm all in.
Send it. All right, so let's quiet for this one, and let's hear this story about a stolen bike.
I need a refill on this one.
The grunt. Oh.
Golly.
It's Daniel Tran up in Dahlonega. Just sharing a story about my dirt bike getting stolen a few years back. So in 2018, I had a YZ 125 that I was trying to sell for a down payment on another dirt bike I was wanting to buy. I was wanting to buy the KTM 2-strokes, 250 2-stroke. They were offering some kind of deal at a dealership, and I said I was wanting to sell it for a down payment on that. had it for sale on Facebook Marketplace for probably about a week or so. And I was out with my friends that night, and I came home at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and had a carport, an open carport, and that's where I kept my bike. I usually kept it chained up, but I guess I didn't that day. And I just always would walk by and kind of just look at it, and I walked by and didn't see it, and my heart just dropped right then. And so I made a police report and took pictures of it, or I had pictures of it already filed from me trying to sell it. So I took this to the detective and basically kind of gave him everything I had on it. And I guess they didn't really do much. So I really didn't ever hear back from them. So the next day or two, me and my buddies kind of like walked around and scoped out the area and put out some flyers, and I asked some neighbors and all that. But the crazy part about this is one of my coworkers at work lived maybe a mile down the road, or maybe not even a mile, a little bit down the road, and kind of in the same neighborhood. And I'd send her a message, and I was like, hey, my bike was stolen the other day. Here's pictures of it. Keep an eye out for it. Well, she calls me right after that and goes and tells me that afternoon or that night she was babysitting her grandkids late one night and was coming home and saw 2 kids pushing my bike. At the time, she didn't really think nothing of it. She just thought it was strange. She thought that the bike had broke down or something like that, and nothing of it. So she went home, and then when I sent her the pictures of it, she was like, yeah, that was it. That was the bike they're pushing. So that kind of gave me a little bit of hope. And she's like, yeah, it was two little blonde-headed kids. And I mean, that could have really been anyone. The years went down. I kind of over time forgot about it. And then the same friend that found my bike, sent me a picture of it on the back of sent me a picture of a YZ 125 that was spray painted all black. It's probably about a year or two after it was stolen. He sent me a picture of that and was like, man, I just saw your bike. I had my kid with me, so I couldn't chase him down and couldn't do nothing with it about it. So that kind of gave me a little bit of hope that there was maybe my bike was still floating around out there. But like I said, I had wrote this bike gone after that. And so that same friend would occasionally see a YZ 125 on Facebook Marketplace and would send it to me and was like, man, this is your bike. This is your bike. And I'd kind of zoom in and look it over and just would be like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. And well, one day I was heading home from work and he sends me pictures of this bike for sale, a YZ 125 for sale in Dahlonega, Georgia. And I actually knew the boy that had it for sale. And he calls me right after that and is like, bro, this is your bike. We're going to get it. I don't care what you say. He was that kind of friend that he was worried that it was going to get sold because they were asking so little for it. Well, I kind of wanted to turn around and go get it too, because I kind of had an idea where this boy lived and all that. Well, I got home, my girlfriend calmed me down and was like, look, just go about it the right way and do it right. So I went back to Dahlonega the next day and basically went to the police and told them, hey, this is what I've got, and this is the boy that has it. I know where he lives and when he'll be home. And the detective's like, all right, well, let me go kind of check it out. And while he was doing that, I sent him pictures of basically everything. I basically hand drew this thing out to where he looked at the pictures, and it was clear as day that it was my bike. So he went and basically went to the address, and yeah, it ended up being my bike. And he sends me I sent him pictures of the bill of sale, and he sends me pictures of the VIN, and it matched up. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there in 25 minutes. And luckily at work, they were able to just let me go do that, and they understood. But when I got there, the boy, I mean, he knew me and I knew him, and he's like, man, I would have known this was your bike, I never would have bought it, and this and this. I mean, I knew there's more to the story because the deputy was like, man, well, we're going to try to get your $1,000 back that you paid for this bike. And that boy was like, no, it's all right. As long as he got his bike, everything's cool. And as soon as he said that, I knew something fishy was up. And I threw the bike in the back of the truck, and I'd deal with that some other day. But it was the same friend that always would send me pictures of it. He stays on Facebook Marketplace, just always trying to find a good deal. And like I said, he would send me pictures of all kinds of YZ125s. And 6 years later, it popped up on Facebook Marketplace for sale in the same town where I live. Sure enough. So right now I've got it taken apart and I'm cleaning it up, and we'll try to trade it for something. So if you got an old XR, I like the old XRs. If you got one of those laying around, might have a YZ125 willing to trade for one day. But yeah, I guess I just kept good faith that good Lord would turn around and find it one day, and sure enough. But yeah, that was a story. Appreciate it.
No, Daniel, thanks for sending that in. That's actually like a roller coaster of emotions for like a fucking stolen bike to find it, dude. The
Good
fact
Lord
the
never
kid
blessed
was
me.
like, I'm just glad he got his bike back. Yeah, that's a little fishy.
Yeah.
And honestly, I remember when I was working at the Cowie dealer in Florida before moving up to Georgia. So this one, God, I don't remember his name, but he was cool as shit. This tall black dude. I think he was like 16, 17 at the time. I remember him still being a minor because I think he got off okay. And had the biggest fro, this just coolest dude. Oh, like James at WoW, right?
Yeah.
Like just a dude that you just wanted to be buddies with, right? So the story was he bought a bike from his uncle, but it was a bike that was stolen from one of our other customers. And he came in and like, he literally brought it to us because he's like, hey, I need some work done.
Yeah.
But after I did, I checked something out and I went, this looks like, I think the dude's name was Harold's bike that was stolen. Checked the VIN. Well, we sold the bike to Harold, so it was in our system. Checked it. Same VIN.
Wow.
And then the cops like arrested that kid. And I told I told the cop, I'm like, hey dude, I don't think this kid was involved in it. But like, it sucked because he was like a cool dude that I would want to be buddies with all the time.
Right.
Never saw him again after that.
Wow.
And I feel like a big part of it was he was ashamed with the bullshit that went on with it.
Yeah,
but so with this one, it seems a little bit different, but it brought back that memory of that situation. So yeah, Daniel, he shared, which a few episodes ago, I believe was our buddy Greg Day's favorite little Mexican, is what he called him, which I was going to refer to you, but turns out you're just like, not Mexican, which in a way is actually Mexican, if you think about it.
I'm not Mexican Indian.
Isn't that what?
No.
So the Indians didn't become Mexicans? Are you sure about this?
100%.
We're going to have to deal with the tracking.
100%.
I know the Spaniards came over and taught them the language, but I feel like the Aztecs and the Indians or Native Americans.
The Native Americans.
They're all kind of tied.
Native here.
Out of here might be Mexican.
I get mistaken for it a lot.
We're going to have to do 23andMe. All right. On the next episode, we're going to reveal the results. The results are in, and you are Mexican. All right, so Scott, why don't you tell the people what happened with your bike steal situation? Because this shit is wild.
It really gets wild because I think I don't know if I was the first victim of it, but I could have been.
Well, I will
escalated.
say you weren't the first victim of this style.
No, not at all.
But you might have been the first victim of San Antonio.
Yes. So the bike that I bought from Turner, completely rebuilt, was in 05 with 06 suspension on it. So I had the Triple S suspension on it, whatever, and I had it all redone. I mean, this was probably one of the best bikes I've ever owned. Decided to part with it because I don't know what reasons. Oh, we were gonna buy a house, so I was gonna use it for join the down payment I needed. Anyways, put it for sale on Facebook. I don't think was the thing to do then, so it's probably eBay. I put it on eBay for sale, and I get a call. Guy wants to come see it, and he goes, "Hey, I'm kind of close to you. I'm over here in Universal City," which is, I mean, I could look out the back door and see Universal City where I was living. And I'm real close. All right, cool. Come on over and check the bike out. And so sitting there, I get a knock on the door. And it's this old guy.
How old do you think he was?
He had to have been late 50s. I would say. I wouldn't say maybe 60s, but late 50s, I would say. Sweat and everything. He just walked up to my house. Looking out, kind of see.
What I remember,
kind of like, what are you?
Wasn't he wearing a business suit?
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't wearing a business suit. He was just in like a fishing shirt, khaki fishing shirt or whatever, long sleeve.
Okay, I remember that different.
Yeah, with khaki pants and all, whatever. But
like he was dressed nicely though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess
he didn't look like a bum.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not something. So yeah, we're gonna get to that. So, because he didn't. Yeah, we'll get to that. So I've opened the garage up, show him the bike. I'm the only one at the house. And I'm sitting there. He says, "Hey, I'm here to take a look. I called you to take a look at the bike, blah, blah, whatever. Okay, cool. Let's pull it out and take a look at it." He goes, "Man, my car broke down the way here. I called my wife. She's coming here to pick me up to get all this done." So I walked over here. It's like, okay, whatever, cool. So we're going to wait. So we waited. I mean, I didn't let him do anything to this bike. He looked at it. That was it. And it was a good 20, 30 minutes before. I was like, dude, what's going on?
He played the long game, basically.
So what are you doing now? We was talking to him. He says, "Hey, I'm I bought a 125 for my kid. I want a 250 for me." And like, cool. I'm glad y'all are getting into it. And I showed him the bike, went over and everything that I've done to it. And while we're waiting, you can just go ahead and take it for a spin right here. Dumb thing, it never clicked in my head. But what my dad always says, you either have cash in your hand or you take the keys from them.
Yep.
Swap something with them so they they have to come back.
A wallet or
anything.
something. Yeah.
Dude was old. Okay, whatever, cool. Wasn't just some random,
this
guy
guy's basically on geriatrics.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
he's fine.
So it's fine. So it's nothing happened. So it's cool. I mean, he played me. I mean, it was just whatever. And he gets on the bike and he says he's just getting into riding, but he got it going and so he gets a lot of power. Just be cool with it, and he got going and he wouldn't screaming up and down the road or anything. He was putting, going through the gears and checking it out, jumping, bouncing on the bike, and he went down to my left and went up and took a right. Which when he took a right, I was fine because it's a cul-de-sac. He had to come back down.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he did that, I kind of walked back towards my truck just in case, because something was fishy. And then when he came back down, he didn't turn back towards me. He turned away from me. I didn't have my car keys.
Oh no.
So I ran to go get my car keys. I come out and I hear, and anybody knows what a really good sounding 250 sounds like.
I remember you telling me.
Top gear through the air. He was getting like, this motherfucker knows how to ride. What the hell? So I jumped in my truck and I get to the end and there's nowhere to be found. So I'm calling my dad. Hey, you guys need to get on there. Get anybody and start looking on the highways for my bike got stolen. You idiot! Can't believe you know.
I know your dad is just talking shit to you.
All right, Dad, I don't want to hear it right now. Just find the bike. So I'm texting everybody just to look out. I'm spreading the word real quick to get it out. Never found it. Nobody ever saw it. Never found this bike.
Jeez.
Okay, so a week later, I hear a buddy of mine. His bike's stolen. It all came up. Dude, what happened? This old guy came up and took my bike from me. He got out and started running it. I got in my truck and chased him. So when he said he chased me, he got down to the end of the neighborhood, and there was two Mexican guys in a truck waiting for him. He jumped in back there, strapped it down, and they took off. I mean, it was like that quick. It was so fast. He started chasing them, but they were running red lights, and one of the red lights he couldn't make it through and lost them. Gone. There was like 3 other incidents of this happened that I heard of, that the same people were getting hit like this.
Yeah.
And it was just, it happened so fast. And I feel like the biggest idiot for even letting that happen. But I was like, Even told my dad, dude, it was like you came up. He was an old man. I got jipped by an old man.
No, and honestly, like I didn't have a stolen bike for this segment or for this show because you were my stolen bike segment. Because that's one of the things I want to do with this is like have some good laughs, have some knowledge, like let some people know some things, like no matter what. Because you probably had that gut feeling like something's weird.
It was. It was off.
They're counting on your good nature because they're a piece of shit.
They worked it. He worked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
Do you think he put his name down, flip it, and reversed it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we're winding down. I got a few other little questions, and then we're going to do B story. We're going to do the outro. I think we've hit all our topics and our segments and all that other fun stuff. So one of the things that I hope is going to piss you off right now, and I'm really upset that I didn't grab a manual to throw in your face, is, Scotty, why don't you tell me why you can't rely on a compression test for a 4-stroke?
Why you can't rely on one?
Yeah. That was a big argument you and I would get to all the time.
Probably because of compression release.
Yeah, but it was just funny. I would be like,
you can't.
I'm about to do a compression. Exactly. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I did a compression test on this bike. It's good. And you're like, compression tests don't matter in fucking 4-strokes to get decompressions. And I'm like, well, why the fuck does it tell you in the manual what the compression range is? And you'd be like, that manual's stupid. It doesn't know what the fuck it's talking about.
That's right.
And I'd be like, Scotty, it's in a fucking manual.
I don't care. I don't care what's in the manual.
So can you tell me why it is that you are dead set on a 4-stroke compression range is not accurate?
Well, because there's too many factors in it. I mean, it could be...
There's one factor
I mean, you could have... You wouldn't even know... I mean, even if you did have the range...
Okay.
And it still wouldn't start...
Okay.
It could be a factor that you could have a hairline fracture in a piston. You wouldn't even know it. Because it's losing compression. So you wouldn't be able to build. Because I have that... I know that because that's what happened to my dad's bike. Could not figure out why this bike would not start. Could not figure it out. You tore it down, looked at it. No, Suzuki.
Oh, okay.
450.
I remember you calling me about that. We talked on the phone about that fucking thing. Yeah.
Could not figure it out. And finally, for like I don't know, maybe the third time, he took it apart.
And then found that.
Looked at it. What the hell's going on? And finally, he looked at it and found a little hairline fracture in the piston. And
did you actually do a compression test on that?
I think he did. I didn't do it. I wasn't there when he was doing it. He did.
Are you sure?
But
can we call him?
Yeah,
and find out?
What time is it?
Well, it's an hour behind in Texas.
8:40. Yeah, he'll be awake.
Yeah. No, so the reason I say that because Brandon's KTM had, and that's why I asked if it was or what bike it was, because I thought you were gonna say KTM. He had that hairline crack. We talked about it in the first episode. Really funny. I don't know if you got to listen to that one, but go back and listen to it because it's like this, just fucking banter, like a lot of ammo, you know, like stories and shit with a good friend. But I've had the KTM hairline fracture. We did a compression test and we're like, this is low.
Yeah.
But I will tell you my theory on why you have these things where you're like, this is the Bible, is because your dad told you.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm glad you at least admit that. But like, no matter what, like, I feel like
I want to say he did do the test, and the test was coming out good. Like it was in the range. The problem is when it was starting to build the pressure up, it was opening and losing
the crack.
Yeah. So it was
never want to open the
crack.
You
would never. Yeah, never. Yeah. Awesome. But it was.
Well, this is way before that. This is before you went back to Texas, right? So this was before that Suzuki. We would have these arguments about you couldn't do a compression test on a 4-stroke. And I was
just impossible. There's too many things that can
but
go.
But why would the manual say, hey, if you do a compression test, considering the decompression release, if it's between this range and this range, which is low, 50 to 70, if I'm going to guess, I've got a CRF manual that has it down in the garage. I will go get that bitch. But I'm telling you, it has a range that says if it's between this and this, it's good.
And that's believable. Okay, but
that's the conversation we would have, and you would be like,
no, over the years, you look at it, it's like, okay, you can be in this range, but once it starts to start and gets beyond that range,
Well, yeah, it
fails.
changes.
Yeah, it fails and it won't start. And then you're like, okay, why? I have the right readings. Because my dad was getting the right readings on his bike. And it's like, okay, why isn't his bike running? It took him forever. He tore it down so many times to figure out what the hell was going on with it. And I mean,
well, it's a Suzuki. They still kickstart. Okay.
Well, yeah, you gotta have that electric start.
I don't know. I was trying to do something to fire you up, honestly. Like, I don't give a shit about it. I thought it was just funny. That was one of the funniest things I could pull it from the past where I was like, I would fire him up with this. Let me see if I can get him going again. All right. So I wrote down what I remember you always telling me was your favorite bike. What was your favorite bike?
All time
favorite bike.
The YZ250 I had.
I had it wrong.
Oh.
I remembered you always saying how the 03 KTM 250 SX was your favorite bike.
That was a ridiculously fast bike.
Maybe that was it.
When it first came out. It was, I raced it in San Jacinto, Houston, because my bike broke. I had a guy. Okay, here's another story. So I'm racing this intermediate class. They double us up. Experts are in front of us. They all take off, and so you had to come around this corner and hit this, side like tabletop, where you're in the turn and you're kicking it sideways as you land.
Yeah.
So if somebody's inside, they're gonna drift. Well, this guy came around. The expert came around and caught all of us, and I guess I was in his way. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was doing. I wasn't even in his class, and he heard from me at the end of it, because when he came out, he hit the front end of my bike, took the front wheel out, and broke everything on the front of it. I mean, it was just gone. I mean, bars were broken, triple trees were broken, and everything was just broke. He just completely took me out, and that was one person I did get in his face in the pits. Because I wasn't even in his class. Like, why are you taking me out? There was no reason to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even give me a chance to move. We were in the air and you drifted on me. I mean, you knew what was going to happen. You're a pro. You kicked the bike. So, it's going to whip.
We raced pro at one time. Do we really know what we were doing?
No, not really. But still, I mean, it's like, dude, I mean, I understand if I was in your class and I wasn't moving, you're going to knock me out of the way, cool, but you did this on purpose. But after that, I had to race this brand new 03, and I couldn't handle it. It was so different from my 02 that I had, the power wise. Yeah, the KTM, same bike.
Huh.
But from the 02 to 03, the power difference was just unreal. I couldn't handle it.
And that's probably the story. I remember you saying maybe not your favorite bike, but like the most powerful one that you remember at that time.
Now, if you go 125s. My 98 KTM 125 I had was ridiculously fast.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It had a ton of power in it. I pulled every single hole shot I ever raced in that bike. And won a championship on that one,
No,
too.
honestly, like, in my memory bank from, like, that time frame, KTMs didn't get good for two-strokes until, like, 02, 03. So were the 98s really that good?
Had more, I guess the 98 had more bottom end. I mean, it was more punchier than, so I had the 02 and 03, too. And it wasn't even close to my 98.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was
because like my memory from that time frame would be more like the Grant Langston, era of that, and reading all the shootouts and the testing and whatever. It was 5 horsepower more than any of the other ones, right?
I had the Langston's full pipe on it too on my 02. Yeah, I mean
I believe that.
That was a ridiculous bike. Yeah. 98 was a good bike. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was before like KTM got good.
Yeah.
And then they hit like another surge when Roger came. And
that all changed the game. When Roger came in, that all changed the game.
But you see what happened. Yeah. We saw the video where he found out that budget's cuts for next year. I'm so glad I made. Dude, I'm so pissed that the fucking subtitles didn't save from when I saved it though. But it'll be good later. We'll save it. I'll figure it out. All right. Well, let me see if there was any other things. All right. So my old roommate, John Level, called me and we were bullshitting the other day. And he's like, hey, this would be a good question to ask a guest on the show. And when he asked it, I started just playing through shit in my head. And I'm like, I don't know if I have a good answer to this. So I was like, I'm going to ask it on my next show. So, John, thanks, bud. Too drunk right now. All right. So, What bike would you want to case a jump with, and why?
None.
No, like
Who the hell
that's
wants
the
a
thing.
case of bike?
So if you're in that, this is what he said. He said you're in the air, and you realize you fucked up, and you're about to case a jump or over jump it. What bike would you want to magically appear underneath you?
My YZ250 I had. That was
The stolen one?
Yep. It had the best suspension we put on that bike. I mean,
Alright.
that really soaked up a lot of stuff. That would be the bike.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one bike that I really regret getting stolen or trying to get rid of. I mean, that was an awesome bike I had.
Well, I was gonna say, not gonna be able to test that one out.
Nope. Nope. Not at all.
All right. I just thought that was an interesting question because it really started racking my brain because I went back to the hundreds of bikes that I've actually not just like flipped, like actually raced. And I was like, I can't think of a single one where I'd be like, this would be the best one to come short on. And I started then even going like, okay, do I want one that suspension was way too stiff for to help? Or would I want one that was compliant? Or would I want one that's soft?
That's why on that bike, I mean, even when Chase rode it, he goes, dude, this thing is soft. I said, no, go out and ride. The harder you ride this bike,
the better
more
it gets.
The suspension works. And that was one of, if you hit something real hard, it didn't hit and stiff. It took the hit and soaked it up. So that was one.
Did Matt Turner, you said you bought it from him, right? Mm-hmm. You got the suspension. That's how you got it from him?
No, I rebuilt it. Because at that time when I went to KTM, I had that bike. That's where I rebuilt it. And my dad became the RG3 technician. And we put RG3 in it.
Oh,
and did
I
some
forgot
testing
about
on
that.
it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we did a lot of testing on it, and we just had that suspension absolutely perfect.
Okay.
So
well, I was gonna say because Matt is one of the pickiest sons of bitches for suspension. So I was gonna say I'm not surprised if you got it from him and it was.
Yeah, I mean it was good, but the good thing it was an 05 bike, but he had put the 06 suspension on it, so that was really good. The Triple S.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we're wrapping up the show, buddy.
Do it.
I'm
great.
Really glad that you text me that you were in town because this is a lot of fun. This is one of the things.
Racking my brain all day, going like, am I going to this thing? Is he gonna call me and say, hey?
I honestly, at one point, I thought I was gonna be like, hey, are you here? And you're like, I chickened out.
Yeah, man. I went back to San Antonio.
No, I'm in Texas. This was a prank the whole time. Your wife set up with you.
Never
Fuck
came.
you.
Gone.
All right. Any other stories or stuff you want to talk about? I feel like we've touched on all the stuff I've got here.
I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Well, we'll maybe have some good stories from the Barber Vintage days.
Yeah, be great.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna play. So, first I told Brother to tell me a story, and when he just went on a tangent about this Christmas story, and I was like, "That's a really good story, buddy." But we're gonna have to save that one for the Christmas episode. But since this is Thanksgiving and it's tomorrow, I was like, how about you tell me a turkey story? So I got the story out of him. So
all right, awesome.
B, why don't you tell me a story that has to do with Thanksgiving and dirt bikes?
Yeah. So, once upon a time, me and Frankie brought a turkey on her back and there was turkeys were running after us. And you know how many?
How many?
10.
10 turkeys?
Yeah.
Now, one turkey's already on Frankie's back, and there's 10 turkeys chasing you guys?
No, there's 10 more chasing.
Yeah, so one's on Frankie's back,
So
and 10 are
there's
chasing us.
11. There's 11 turkeys.
Why are the turkeys chasing you guys?
Because it's Thanksgiving, and they smell that I ate some ham.
Okay. So, were you and Frankie taking a turkey to take home for Thanksgiving?
No. Oh, but we already had cookie. We already had it on our oven, and guess what was inside the turkey?
What?
Cookies.
Cookies? Why would somebody put cookies in a turkey?
I did that because it's Thanksgiving, and get it? Because cookies have thanks in them. So they give thanks in your body for the sugar.
So what else happened when those turkeys were chasing you?
One bulldozer came. One front end loader came.
Keep going.
One bulldozer came in here and then told us that he had a bunch of turkeys in his bin.
What?
And he dumped them out, and they went all over the house.
Anything else?
Then, bye.
You wanna talk about a lead? I have got shot in the darkness. With cups and rolling dice, we give no fucks now. Who think twice, yeah? And when this world takes over, felt like it was trying to shake us. Held on to what we knew. It could try, but it never break us. It could try, but it never break us. Talk about what's going on, like we can't function on this level. You laugh at who we are. You're the joke that's taken too far. So where's complexion over? We won't let biggest we just keep getting closer. 8 years of